Testing. Oops. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
A woman never belongs to you. It's just your turn. You lost your edge, she lost attraction for you. That's how it works. What'd you think she was gonna do? Tell you she cheated? Men cannot afford to get complacent in relationships. Get your fat ass off the couch, start lifting weights, and learn game. You're welcome.
And now your man,
Donovan Sharpe.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 977th edition of TSR Live, your daily dose of toxic masculinity, misogyny, and small dick energy. It is Thursday, June 22nd of 2022. It is good to have you all in today. We are mega casting, multi-streaming live everywhere. We are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, MGTOW.tv, Rumble, and of course in crystal clear, high-resolution 4K on SharpeStream. So however you are watching, wherever you're watching from, thank you for making the Sharpe Reality Live a part of your daily routine. So I guess let me address some of these people in the chat. So Yorkshire Gunner says, now we know your blatant bias is going to show here. Pearl blatantly gets cooked by Ethan, but don't know you're going to have her scoring a lot of Don DeMarcos and Tyson uppercuts as if she did something. You'd be better off speaking to her in private about her time on Ethan's stove being cooked than avoiding proving to people that red pillars will literally defend anything as long as you're red pill. Yorkshire Gunner, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Yes, I am biased. Yes, Pearl is my friend. But we are all biased. You guys are biased. You guys are biased against Pearl. Anything she says, you guys will find some way to twist it. Now, I will attempt to be as objective as possible, but I'm not going to sit here and drag Pearl for this, for this interview, right? And Daniel A says, "How the hell you defend this?" Who the hell said I'm defending anybody? Who the hell said I'm defending anybody? Listen, I talked to Pearl about this earlier today. She said I took the L. She said that. Now, I told her, I said, well, you told me you took the L against Hafiz, and that turned out differently. She says, no, Donovan. She said, I did not do well. She said, I took the L. I said, okay, well, look, man, you're going to take L's. You can't win them all. Like, you can't win every single debate that you're on. It just doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. It's never worked that way. Nobody is undefeated, guys. And so you guys who are already biased against Pearl are trying to use this as a referendum on her overall character. Guys, you never liked her in the first place. You never liked her in the first place. So let's not pretend that you're coming from an objective standpoint. Pearl got cooked. Okay, she may have gotten cooked. But you were going to say that anyway. There were actually people out here talking about how Hafiz cooked Pearl. And if we got people out here talking about how Hafiz cooked Pearl, then oh, wait a minute. Then we know that there are people that are biased. Listen, if you don't like somebody, that's fine. Just say you don't like them. If you don't like Pearl because she comes from a privileged background and she kicks everybody's ass up and down YouTube, then just say that. Just say that. You don't have to justify to me why you don't like her. If you don't like her because she's a white girl who is kicking everybody's ass up and down YouTube and that she comes from a privileged background, just keep it real and say that. It is what it is. Al Mustafa says Pearl shouldn't debate if she's not ready. Pearl can do whatever the fuck she wants to, ready or not. She can do whatever the fuck she wants to, ready or not. Myron used to not be good at debating. He didn't. He used to not be that good. But guess what? He's the master now. Because why? He got practice. The only way you're going to get better at debates is if you get into debates. That's how this works. You guys are trying to hold Pearl to this impossible standard as an excuse to talk shit about her. Dude, Pearl's been in the space for 15 minutes, man. And because she does YouTube better than anybody, you guys want to use a bad debate as a referendum on her overall character. Okay, so she took the L. Okay, so what are we? So what are we gonna? What do you guys want to get her canceled? Everyone talking about the fact that she took the L, they were gonna talk shit anyway. The bottom line is you losers don't matter, man. You don't. You think you do, but you don't, dude. You guys can talk all the shit about Pearl you want. That's not going to take away her 1.5 million subscribers. No, she's not the best debater in the world. That's why she takes these debates. This is how this works. Dude, the only person who ever hit a home run in his very first Major League at-bat was Jason Hayward. It was Jason Hayward, right? It is what it is, guys. It is what it is, man. Everybody's always trying to find a reason not to like Pearl. Just admit that you're fucking jealous, guys. Especially niggas. You niggas hate Pearl because she's fucking y'all up, man. She's employing more black people than y'all ever did. So I just wanted to go ahead and address that out loud. Bryce MC says, haircut looks sharp. Appreciate that very much. Appreciate that very much. Square Table Degenerate says the debate was about getting views and content, not debating everyone wins. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why Pearl, like, dude, it's so funny. People, you guys underestimate her, man. She's a lot smarter than you guys think. And if she's got 1.5 million subscribers in less than a year, you don't luck into 1.5 million subscribers. She knows exactly what she's doing. And whether she goes on a debate and takes the L or not, she still gets the W. She just got exposed to, what, 4 million people? Ay. All right. So, let's go ahead and get this party. Oh, wait a minute. That's not what we're reacting to. Hang on. Like I said, I'll try to be as objective as possible. But guys, I'm not going to sit here and tell you. that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm not biased, because I am. Daniel says clout doesn't equal intelligence. You're right. Clout does not equal intelligence. But Pearl has gotten a million. You guys have no idea what this chick does behind the scenes. You guys are just haters, man. Pearl is smarter than you, Daniel. You're just jealous of her. That's all this is. Clout doesn't equal intelligence. Dude, 1.5 million subscribers. That's hard to do. I've been at this for 6 years. I'm at 172K, y'all. I'm at 172K, man. Pearl is better at this than I am. The discussions we've had behind the scenes, like the things that she does, she knows exactly what she's doing. Yeah, she's going to slip up from time to time and make mistakes. She's new to the game. It is what it is. But if you don't like her because she comes from a privileged background, then just say that. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right, so let's go ahead. Oh, cool. There we go. There we go. So I'm going to speed this up So I'm going to speed this up so it doesn't take us all day. Let's go. Playback speed. All right, let's do it. Oops.
Boom. You look hard. Oh, Jesus, what's that? I don't know. Was it me? Oh, there's just crazy audio feedback, but your camera feed looks great.
Okay, can you hear me okay now?
Yes, I can hear you.
All good?
Okay, good. Yeah, we fixed it. Hi, how are you?
Your feed looks good. You sound good. Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for calling in. Obviously, I saw your tweet. Is this a trap or good faith conversation? It's not.
Yeah, I wasn't sure which.
Well, yeah, I think it's a good faith conversation. I mean, what would you consider to be a trap?
All right, mods. If anybody disrespects Pearl and talks shit about her, just ban them. I'm not gonna sit here and. The Rose Show says everyone isn't jealous of her, bro. She sucks, period. Okay, well, you're fucking gone. Go fuck yourself. Seriously, like, the ban hammer's out. The ban hammer's out. I am not going to, give me a second. Hold up. Yeah, here we go. Yep, I'm banning all you fuckers. And I'm going to tell you what, if the shit keeps up, I'm going to make it members only. I'm going to make it members fucking only. So, listen, man, mods, like, seriously, no holds barred. No holds barred. Just ban these guys. They're all losers. Arturo reacts says, and of course I do. I never do manosphere red pill stuff. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let me just go ahead and get these losers out of here, because all these guys are gonna do is come on here and try to derail the show with all your jealousy. If she really was that bad, what the fuck are you here watching my reaction for? Jesus Christ. Give me a second, man. Basically checked out of that interview. Clout doesn't equal intelligence. Yeah, Daniel A., you're fucking gone. You're a loser. L or not exposure is all that matters. Oh, it said L or not. Okay. Charmcaster says Pearl's gone crazy and Donovan's the only one who could take her down. I can't take her down. I can't take her down. She's at 1.5 million subs, man. Fuck out of here. Yeah, Flying Ace 224 says everyone hating has under 100,000 subs. Exactly. You don't see anybody. You see very few channels, and the only reason why the big channels go after Pearl is because she's the new hot topic. That's it. That's it. Stephen Proctor with the $5 super chat says people who judge Pearl are like people who have never been in a fight but judged a person who lost but had the courage to fight anyway. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's just the way it is. The Rose Show says, damn, didn't know you couldn't take criticism. What a alpha. No, that is what an alpha. So you're another ignorant ass nigga. Aaron Clary. That is definitely not Aaron Clary. I am not beefing with Pearl. Nice try. Nice try. Yeah, I know. Dude, you know what? Fuck it. You know what? You losers. I'm done. I'm done. I'm just gonna make this members only, because you guys are just gonna come in here and just be talking a bunch of shit. Members only. There you go. All right, now you losers can either unsubscribe or go watch something else, or you can sit there and shut the fuck up. There you go. There you go. All right, let's continue.
It's kind of like when you walk into an interview and it's like they're not trying to have a conversation. They're just trying to like paint you out to be a certain way, I would say.
Sure. That would be like a bad faith when they go in there with an agenda and they're not really open to hearing your thoughts. Well, certainly I hope for it to be a challenging conversation, but I hope that you'll find it to be in good faith. I mean, you know a little bit about me, I'm assuming, so you kind of know what's my positions on a lot of things. But I do look forward to speaking with you. And I thank you, by the way, for accommodating us. I know you're in the UK, so I thank you for making the time and coming out here at a weird hour.
Yeah, no, I used to watch you like last year, actually, a good amount. Like a year or two ago, maybe. What is,
like as a fan or as like a hate watch?
No, I don't know if it's like awkward to talk about like Trisha, but I used to watch like the show you guys did together.
Oh yeah. Really no, you can. No, you can. Well, thank you. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, I know it like didn't work out, but I actually thought that was really good content. Like you guys did the like the bus tour. I thought that was so funny.
Oh, thank you. That's nice. We actually worked really hard on that. All these guys.
The bus tour is why frenemies fell apart. So
wait,
glad at least you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it was her segment. Is that what happened?
Well, I don't know if it's so long ago. It's ancient history. I remember she was upset that it didn't go the way that she was hoping that it would.
Oh, she thought we shot it unprofessionally.
Yeah. But Pearl liked it, so there you go.
Yeah,
Pearl, yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I guess let's just jump right into it. I don't know how many of my audience, I'm sure a lot do, but I kind of want to just introduce you. You've become really successful the past year or two, kind of you're friends with Fresh and Fit, right? Those guys are your dogs, so to speak, and you kind of are sympathetic to their kind of views. But you've made a name for yourself just on TikTok and on YouTube. So let me just ask you generally, like, what kind of messages are you sharing on your platform? What kind of important messages is it that you find yourself are about?
I believe in family, so I think that we should have policies that push family. I think that feminism overall was a bad thing. I think that we should be. I think women are happier when we have, a family and kids over a career in the long run. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
It's okay. Yeah, I understand. So it's more like a traditional. You want people to kind of follow a more traditional path in terms of family and gender and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, and you just see the negative outcomes a society has when families fall apart, right? And it's especially hard on the children. Like you see, the kids are more likely to go to prison. They're more likely to drop out of school. They're more likely to be in mental health institutions.
JJ Barry says, what are you doing for our birthday? Did you know Chris Hemsworth shared our birthday? Yes. Hulk Hogan shares our birthday, and Joe Rogan also shares our birthday.
So you just see all of the problems that come with single mother homes. So I just think it's important that we push policies that push family.
So how do you push a policy that promotes family? Like in what way can you force a family to stay together or encourage it in a sense?
Well, I think you first have to get rid of incentives that incentivize women to leave families. So, for example, child support, alimony. I'm not really a fan of those.
Child support. So if there's a divorce, let's say
actually, I think we should ban divorce too. Yeah, I think that should be banned. Yes.
Okay, well that's a little bit silly. You have to acknowledge that, right?
No.
So banning divorce means that when you decide to get married, you are not allowed by the government to leave your significant other in any situation.
Yeah. I just think that if you want to leave, you just shouldn't get married. So that's just my opinion.
Right, but in the real world, that kind of simplistic.
And there's exceptions to this, but I would just say in general, for most cases, we could talk about exceptions, but the rule.
Well, the exceptions are the important part because I've heard you say that a lot when you're talking about things. You say,
no, the exceptions are not the important part. See, there he goes now, right? This is a good conversation. This is a good conversation. I don't believe in banning divorce. I think whether Pearl believes that or not, I don't know, right? But she didn't get to 1.5 million subscribers by fence sitting. So she's going to say she's going to embellish her positions. That's what she's going to do. I think that divorce should be banned. She knows it's never going to happen. That's why she talks about it.
You want to talk about exceptions, but the exceptions is the important part because those are the people that are going to be affected. I mean, exceptions are going to be a large part of divorces, as you say. I mean, you're talking about 25% maybe or more, because if you're saying you're not allowed to get divorced, so we're talking about what if the relationship is physically abusive?
Yeah, what if the relationship is physically evisiva spelled backwards? Well, you want to look up the stats on that, Ethan? You want to look up the stats on that? And again, I'm not a statistical guy. I don't know what the stats are, but I do know this. I have heard of or heard that more women stay in physically evisiva spelled backwards relationships than the other way around. So we can talk about evisiva spelled backwards. If the woman doesn't leave, then that's on her. Right? If a woman, yeah, exactly. Devin says that comment made headlines, so it worked. Yeah. Pearl knows exactly what she's doing. She knows it's not feasible for divorce to be banned. She knows this. She's not stupid. Just like when people talk about repeal the 19th Amendment. That's never happening. That's why people say outlandish things. Women shouldn't vote. Hell, Pearl has said women shouldn't vote. It's one thing to say something if you know that it could possibly be true. It's another if you know it's never going to happen. This is part of her shtick. This is part of how she gets eyeballs.
Yeah, I think if it's physically... See, this is the problem, though.
If a woman is in a physically abusive relationship and the woman stays, that's the woman's fault. Y'all. If a man puts hands on you, dude, call the cops. The cops will put him away for a minimum of 72 hours. During that 72 hours, you can use the state, the city, the government to remove yourself from that situation. But girls don't do that. So there we go.
All right. If it's one-sided physically abusive, okay, fine, divorce. We can allow divorce for those exceptions. But I've even talked to people that work at abuse centers, and they say that the majority of abuse is mutual. So it's not just one side hitting the other. It's mutual. So
surely that's not every time.
I think. Yeah,
no, that's
not healthier either.
I just think that the goal should be to keep families together, and that the goal should be to work through it.
I think most people agree with that, right? Because I think we all can look at the stats and say family is important, right? Family is important. Nuclear families is important to the health of children growing up in general. I think we can all say that. But when you say something like divorce should be illegal, we got to kind of suss that out because that's a pretty extreme claim. For example, in 2014, family violence was the cause of 25% of divorces. So I don't think it's fair to characterize that as some kind of super fringe example of why people get divorced.
Well,
what? Super fringe does not mean that it's not fringe. He said super fringe. So now we're talking about like fractions of a percent. Let's be genuine here.
But you also have to look if there's incentive structures in place where there's a lot of false accusations in family court.
There we go.
Like, and a lot of people don't know this, that family court is actually based off, it's not based off of evidence, it's based off of balance of probabilities. And there are incentive programs that you get, like in the UK, you get a free lawyer if you accuse your husband of abuse. And it's less than 10% of cases are actually like followed through with the police.
Sorry, I don't want to move on quite yet. I want to stick on the topic of not allowing people to divorce. So you're saying...
There it is. She's absolutely right. Did you see what Ethan just did there? Did you see what he just did there? Pearl made a perfectly good point. She made a perfectly good point. She says women are incentivized to accuse men of Isuba. They're incentivized. And she just sat there. She said, listen, I talked to a lawyer and, hey, man, like if all you have to do is accuse a man of abuse, you get a free lawyer, free this, free that. But Ethan says, all right, well, I want to continue talking about the divorce shouldn't be allowed. She just told you an exception where she would think divorce is applicable.
That you do want to allow people to divorce. Then you don't really believe that.
No, I would say ban divorce.
Okay, because you just said you would allow an exception in the case of abuse.
I said one-sided abuse exception, sure.
Okay, so how do you prove the one? So then you don't believe in forced divorce? Or, I mean, you
Okay,
ban
fine.
divorce. Yeah.
Ban divorce except for one-sided abuse.
Okay,
sure.
except for one-sided abuse. And is there going to be a system to kind of how do you prove that the woman or man?
Well,
was on
I think
yeah,
you have to press charges in criminal court, not family court.
Thank you.
So only if,
There you go. Thank you.
if your significant other is tried criminally, are you allowed to leave the relationship? Tried and found guilty criminally.
Yes. Otherwise, just stick out of, which is fine if you don't.
Dude, see, he didn't have an answer for that. Yes. If you're going to ban divorce, which again is never going to happen, one of the clear exceptions is if it is one-sided criminal abuse. If the husband has beaten the wife's ass, yes, allow them to get divorced. Right? If he is criminally prosecuted and found guilty, then yeah, get her out of there. But Ethan's looking at it like, I don't know, like, it doesn't make sense. Or, I'm sorry, that makes perfect sense, and Ethan's looking like it doesn't make sense. Ethan, she said ban divorce except for in cases of proven one-sided abuse. I don't know how much more clear she can be here.
Want to be with someone forever, but I just say stay out of marriage.
Right,
Because when marriage is supposed to be, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, and if for richer or for poorer. It's not supposed to be, when I feel like leaving. And the majority of divorces nowadays, it's just, when the girl just feels like leaving.
That's not true.
So and
Oh, there we are. That's not true. Yes, it is. Actually, Ethan, it is. 70 to 80% of divorces are filed by women. And dude, I don't know what the stats are, but a disproportionate number of divorces are quote unquote irreconcilable differences. That's the no-fault divorce.
It's
Well,
just not true.
I've talked to hundreds of women.
That's
on
not.
the show.
That's just. That doesn't prove anything.
And even if you look at when no-fault divorce was initiated in the 1970, I think it was initiated. I mean, one of the number one reasons was financial differences and irreconcilable.
And reconcilable.
Yeah, sorry, I could talk. But yeah, I just think for the people that don't believe in real marriage, because what is marriage if you can get divorced over damn near anything? It's not marriage anymore. It's something else.
Well, I think the reason for that, historically, this emphasis on staying married, right? Or even before this no-fault divorce was an option, and it was more difficult for women to get divorced or men, the abuse of power and the risk for abuse and for people to get stuck in a horrible relationship situation, not just for them, but their kids, right? I mean, obviously, having your kids watch their mother get beat up.
Mm-hmm.
And
now, he's talking about the exception to the rule. And I want you guys to really heed my words here. Back in the day, were there men that abused the power? Absolutely. There were absolutely 100% unequivocally, there were men that absolutely abused their power. There were men that took advantage of the fact that there were laws in place that would favor them in domestically abusive situations. Right? So now we fast forward 70 years. What percentage do you think? We think of feminism. We think of all of the incentives that women have to make false accusations. We think of all of the false accusations that have never been prosecuted, which encourages yet more false accusations. Compared to the men back in the day, what percentage of the men took advantage of the circumstances back in 1953 compared to the women that abused their power here in 2023? It's not even close. Yeah. You better believe it, Ethan. Ethan's right. Ethan is 100% right. There were absolutely men out there who took advantage of a system that did not check abusive behavior coming from men or any other kind of behavior coming from men. Absolutely. Absolutely. There were absolutely men that did that. But not enough for it to be a problem, right? There wasn't some grassroots movement, end abuse. No, abusive relationships existed, but they were much fewer and far between than women who abuse their power now. So let's not pretend that men are more likely to take advantage of a system that does not hold them accountable for their behavior when women are doing it at damn near 100%. I don't know what the percentages are, but I do know this. The percentage of women that take advantage of the gynocentric laws, policies, and procedures is infinitely higher than the men who did the same back in the 1950s. Tell me I'm wrong.
And oftentimes it's going to believe.
Or the kids get watching their father get beat up. Like, it goes both ways.
I acknowledge that. It goes both ways. So both people have a right to.
There it is. There's Ethan's tell. So Ethan's tell, when he loses a point, he goes to his nose.
In my opinion, get divorced because the alternative is one of the partners being stuck and like.
Do you think that's the majority, do you think that's the majorority of cases?
A majority of cases of what? Divorce?
Of divorce.
25%. 25%.
What?
It's 25% based on statistics.
No, but that's not what's in criminal court. It's like less than 10%. It actually follow through in criminal court.
Well,
So
regardless, 10% is enough, don't you think?
No, I said less than 10% of the abuse cases of the 25%. So that's like.
Journal of Family Violence in 2014 found that approximately 25% of divorces in the United States involve domestic violence.
Right, but again, that's because the woman says that she was because they're incentive.
But you're just saying stuff. You're just saying stuff. You don't actually know that to be true.
No, I do.
How?
I do. Like, okay, in the UK, there's a law that you get a free lawyer if
How does that? Sorry, but how does that?
No, Ethan. See, here's the thing.
Unless they go to criminal court, because criminal court is based off of evidence, where family court is based off of a balance of probability. So it means it's more likely that they did it than didn't do it. It's not innocent until proven guilty.
Listen, what she's talking about is the difference between. See, and I'm not a lawyer. Okay, let's get that right. But I do know this, having been in both criminal, having been on the left hand, or I'm sorry, having been on the right hand side in criminal court to the left of the judge, the standard of proof in criminal court is beyond all reasonable doubt. Whereas the standard of proof in civil court or family court is the preponderance of the evidence. There's a big difference. The preponderance of the evidence means that what is presented, it is more likely than not that the person being sued is guilty of the tort being put forth by the prosecutor and or the plaintiff. Okay? Criminal court is beyond all reasonable doubt. Civil and family court, it's the preponderance of the evidence, which means that it's more likely than not that this person is guilty. This is why OJ was found guilty. This is why OJ was found not guilty in the murder trial, but found responsible in criminal court. Because the burden of proof in civil court, when Ron Goldman's father sued OJ Simpson, of course he won. Because based on all the evidence, it's far more likely than not that OJ killed Nicole. That's why he was ordered to pay $33 million to the Goldman estate. That's the difference. But Ethan is saying, no, you're just saying stuff. No, you're just saying stuff. All you're doing is quoting statistics. And we all know that statistics can be made to say whatever the hell you want. Anyone who bases their arguments on statistics, they do not know how to debate. They just don't. They don't. Ken Rose with the $5 super chat. Appreciate that.
Right, but they're not going to jail. It's just to let the abused
I mean, you could call it jail when you have a lifetime of not seeing your children. When the whole community. I mean, you could. I mean, have you spoken to these men? It's like literally their whole community thinks they're an abuser. Now they get to see their kid maybe 3 days a month if they're lucky. A lot of them are
sure, of course. Yeah, right? there's bad outcomes for sure. But on the whole,
a lot of men zero themselves out during this.
They what?
Like a lot of men commit suicide during. Like, yeah.
Oh, that's horrible. You know.
It's horrible. It's like absolutely terrible. Like
he said, that's horrible. Ethan doesn't give a shit.
Interview these men that are going through this.
Yeah, I'm sure that's happened, but at the same time, you're saying women are lying about violence, and I haven't seen you be able to prove that.
I'm saying that.
Are you kidding me? So we have to prove that they're lying? Seriously? He's saying that women are lying about violence, and I have yet to see you prove that. How does she prove that women are lying about violence? How does she prove that? You talk to the men who are accused, Ethan. You don't, like, Ethan is looking at these statistics like they're the end-all, be-all. That's the only, at this point, that is the only rebuttal he has. Okay? I don't need statistics. I don't need statistics or studies. Okay? We need empirical data and anecdotes. That's what you listen to. I don't know what percentage of men who are accused, I don't know what the percentage of men who are accused of domestic violence are falsely accused. But I do know this. A disproportionate number of them are being falsely accused of domestic violence. I don't know the stats. I don't know the numbers. I don't even know the percentages. I don't even know the percentages, but I don't have to know. Because we hear and see and read about stories all the time of men being falsely accused of domestic violence. I don't know if it's 40%, 30%, 20%, 90%. I don't know. But it is disproportionate enough to where we are talking about it right now.
That you can't prove it unless you go to criminal court, because family
Right, but
court
it's not a
is
crime.
based off of evidence.
Right, but they're not going to jail. It's just about the welfare of the kids and, you know, I mean, the people
It's a
involved.
crime if you're falsely accusing someone of abuse.
Um,
That's what I'm saying there's no, you can't, they only prove it in less than 10% of cases.
There you go.
okay,
In criminal
so
court, because criminal court is based off of evidence, family court is not.
Thank you, dude. There you go. Domestic violence is proven 10% of the time, according to these statistics or whatever. Again, listen, I'll treat Pearl the same way I treat Ethan, right? I don't know if the stats she's talking about here, I don't know how accurate that is. But again, I do know that a disproportionate number of men are being falsely accused of domestic violence enough to the point to where we have conversations about it. If something is happening enough, men start to talk about this stuff, right? Let's just say, for example, that there were a finite number of people that said, on Thursdays, the sky is purple, right? Let's just say that on Thursdays, the sky is purple. Only 10% of people only 10 people have said the sky is purple. We're not going to be talking about that. You want to know why? Because 10 out of 7.5 billion people is an infinitesimal percentage. It's not happening enough for people to talk about it. Now, if 10% of the population talks about the fact that the sky is purple on Thursdays, now we're having a conversation. 1 out of every 10 people on the planet thinks that the sky is purple on Thursdays. 10%, that's all it takes. 10% of 7.5 billion, that's a lot of people. That's 7.5 million people. I'm sorry. No, 7.5 billion, that's 750 million. Wow. If 750 million people really do believe that the sky is purple on Thursdays and swear up and down, yes, there will be podcasts and discussions about it. But if it's only 10 people, no one's talking about it. Well, now we come to the family courts and false domestic violence accusations. I don't know if only 10% is proven in criminal court. I don't know if only 10% is proven in criminal court. But again, men being falsely accused, it's a problem. It's so much of a problem. That's why we're talking about this now. I mean, like, he's going to fail to talk about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Come on, man.
So let's just say less than 10%. I'll just give you the benefit of the doubt on that. Still seems like enough to give people the option to leave. And this idea that women just leave whenever they want seems a little bit infantile, since because people change, right? Especially when people get married young, which does happen. People change. People go through shit. People grow apart. A lot of the men who end up being abusive, you hear, were one way before they got married and one way after you get married.
Oh,
so I don't think it's fair to say you're just leaving whenever you want, or you should just have to stay in this forever. Wouldn't you prefer people get married than never get married? Like, I feel like you would be disturbed if, like, only 5% of couples ever got married.
Ethan, this is, you guys see what's happening? Let me rewind this. Ethan's not doing this on his own. He's not doing this on his own. He is not doing this on his own. This is his entire team. That's why he has his laptop computer in front of him. Because I can promise you, he's getting text messages, DMs, whatever the case may be, about the debate. That's why he's able to look up these statistics. So this is his whole team against Pearl. Yeah, Pearl's going to take the L when it's 1-on-4. Absolutely. Ethan ain't that smart, y'all. He's not. He's really not. He is not that smart. He's not smart enough to debate Pearl because he absolutely positively is getting assistance. He's getting assistance, guys. So Ethan didn't cook Pearl. The entire H3 staff cooked Pearl. Pearl didn't lose to she didn't lose to Ethan. She lost to the H3 podcast.
you're just leaving whenever you want, or you should just have to stay in this forever.
Yeah, he needs to. You want to be. Listen, if you want this to be a real debate, close that computer and go mano a mano with her. This is ridiculous.
Wouldn't you prefer people get married than never get married? Like, I feel like you would be disturbed if, like, only 5% of
He keeps looking at the computer. He's getting assistance, guys.
couples ever got married.
I'd rather people got married than stayed married.
Right, but that wasn't one of the options.
I actually don't see a point in getting married with the way that marriage is today, to be honest. Yeah, because again, like, what is it? The average marriage is like 8 years. So the average marriage is 8 years and you're done. That's not marriage.
Leaving a marriage due to domestic violence and not pursuing criminal charges. If so, let's say that a woman's in a marriage and they have a no fault marriage divorce. So let's say she doesn't want to charge her husband. She just wants to leave amicably, okay? But in your situation, she's forced to charge him legally, to have a police investigation, charge him for domestic violence. Wouldn't that be more damaging to his reputation?
So you're gonna say that you're forcing a woman to report domestic violence as though that's a bad thing? Is Ethan suggesting that women have to be forced to substantiate their claims? What's wrong with a woman being compelled to substantiate her claims of domestic violence? Yeah, he keeps looking down and typing. Like, dude, yeah, he is definitely getting assistance. This is not one-on-one, guys. This is not one-on-one. This is Pearl against his entire team. I couldn't win again. I couldn't win in this situation. You kidding me? It's me against all of them.
Not if he beat the case, because again, it's based off of evidence. But I mean, I think that why would you want an abusive guy walking free? If he's actually abusive, he should go to jail.
Right.
Shouldn't we agree on
There you go. There you go. If the guy is really abusive, he should be put the fuck in jail. But Ethan doesn't want a woman forced to prosecute him. You want to know why? Because then that forces her to have to substantiate her claim. So he characterizes substantiating a woman's claim of domestic abuse as being forced. This is literally believe all women. So you want women to be able to accuse a man of domestic violence, but you don't want to have to force her to press charges? What the hell is that?
that?
Right, but it's just not that simple, again, because, like, it's just not
How is it not that simple? If a man is beating you, he deserves to be in jail, Ethan.
that simple, abuse cases, because, and it's not that simple to convict people.
I just don't think that men should be punished without.
It's not that simple to convict people? It's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If a man beats his wife or his woman, and there is evidence, yes, it's not complicated. Okay, she called the cops on June the 22nd. We saw pictures of her on June the 22nd. She had a swollen eye. Her nose was busted and bleeding. There's scratches on her, defensive wounds. Guess what? That's enough evidence. That's enough evidence.
Evidence. And I think in family court, it's not based off of evidence. It's based on a balance of probabilities.
There you go.
And so you have a case where men only.
And guys, women know this. This is why they accuse men in public and in civil court of domestic abuse. Because they know they have the advantage there. They don't really have to substantiate their claim. That's why women, the girl suing Conor McGregor, she doesn't want him prosecuted criminally. She wants him prosecuted civilly. That's a money grab.
Like they're stuck seeing their kid like 3 days a month when, again, it's not based off of evidence. Like, I've interviewed guys where literally the wife, and I've seen the court documents, though. It's coming out in my documentary that's coming out in the fall. But the wife was plotting to try to get the guy to hit her.
Right, I'm sure that happens, but
And the
that
wife still got custody.
right. But that's not a representative case. Again, I mean, for example,
It's not a representative case, Ethan, but it does happen.
you ask why a mom wouldn't want to try a parent. It's more nuanced, right? I mean, you need a more developed take on that, because it's very traumatic for the kids and the family to put their father through a violence case, and especially when the kids are probably going to have to ask to testify, to talk to the police. I mean, I totally understand why mother or father wouldn't want to put their family through that, don't you?
No, I don't. If a man is being abusive to you and your kids, he needs to be put the fuck in jail. What Ethan is doing here is he is trying to justify the reason for a woman not criminally prosecuting her husband for real domestic abuse. Well, we don't want to have to put the children through that, do we? Nah, fam. So you would rather not put the kids through trial, but they're supposed to sit there and watch their father beat their mother's ass? Is that what you're saying, Ethan? You'd rather them continue to see what's going on than to have them prosecuted, just to not drag them up in court. Listen, they're already traumatized, Ethan. They're watching their mother get her ass kicked by her father. I can assure you, talking about it on the stand is not going to be too much worse. He's making excuses. He is making excuses for women not to have to substantiate their claims of domestic abuse. That's what this is. Women know and understand the differences between the standard of proof in both criminal and civil court. That's why they very rarely, I can't remember the last guy that was accused of EPAR or domestic abuse was ever prosecuted criminally. This is unbelievable.
I mean, I can understand it. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. And I mean, according to national statistics on domestic violence,
here we go.
There's 10 million men and women each year that are the victim of physical abuse. But in your world, I have a feeling that a lot of these people would be trapped in these marriages. And that's okay.
I said in one-sided.
Dude, she never said that was okay. She said if there is a case of one-sided domestic abuse, then she's good. And Pearl's not the president. Like, see, this is funny. Ethan said, well, I want to come into this in good faith. Ethan, you're ignoring what she said earlier. Like, you're trying to make her forget the fact that she said, okay, in cases of one-sided domestic abuse that can be proved and prosecuted, yes, by all means, leave. Cigarman85 says, this proves that Ethan wouldn't debate Myron and Rollo live on the Fresh and Fit podcast because he needs his laptop and a full team to feed him info every second. Yeah. Yep. Jabari Hinson, $5 says, what about the lady who beat herself with a hammer? She abused herself, went to the police, and accused a group of guys. She got 8 years. Yep. That's exactly right. Secondhand Truth also points out Ethan is never composed when he is, and never this composed when he's alone. Guys, okay, H3 fans. And by the way, I haven't seen an L yet. We are going to get through this entire interview. And Pearl is actually doing a lot better than you guys seem to think she did. But even if things go completely sideways, it's not her against Ethan, y'all. It's her against Ethan's team. I'm going to drive that point home again and again and again.
Abuse, they could leave, yes.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
There it is.
I do think in order to get custody of your kids, if you're going to accuse the other side of abuse, you should have to prove it.
Do you think,
Yes.
what do you think is more harmful to kids, divorce or physical abuse?
Physical abuse.
Okay, you passed that one. But you had to think about it for a
You passed that one.
second. But anyway, let's move on from this.
Did you hear that? You passed that one, but you had to think about it for a second. This is clearly not in good faith. He is really trying to make her look bad now. You had to think about it for a second. This guy.
I just thought it was kind of a silly question. That was all. But
Okay, that's refreshing. Tell me, what does red pill mean to you? Because I've heard you use that phrase a lot. You're part of the red pill community.
Dude, he cannot take his eyes off this laptop.
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people. I will say a lot of people have their own definitions of it, so people use it for different things. But I would say it's viewing the world the way it's supposed to be, or like the way it is, not the way you're told it is. So, like, you know, for example, a lot of guys think if they treat a girl nice and give her flowers, that, you know, she'll essentially sleep with him. And then a lot of guys find out that's not true, and so then they, you know, came together and realized that. So it's just one thing.
Is that true? Do men really believe that?
But
Yes.
What do you mean?
That if you buy flowers and be nice, she'll sleep with you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's real. I think that's like a really odd way to describe dating. It's just like men are nice guys and women
Well, I
are.
just think
It just seems very
I would say-
cartoonish. Like we're talking about real world stuff, and it's just you
I
can't
mean,
really.
I just think men don't really.
She used a broad example. If you buy her flowers thinking she's going to sleep with you, that's not what she was saying there, and she should have articulated herself better. What she should have said is, okay, that was just an example, but the world tells us that if we buy women things, if we cater to them, if we kowtow to them, then they're going to sleep with us. That's it. That's it.
Men don't expect like women to reproduce more with felons than non-felons. Like I think that's a surprise.
Women reproduce more with felons than
Violent
non-felons.
felons. Yeah. I mean, like think
Wait,
about it.
wait,
Like,
wait,
Ted
hold
Bundy-
on. Wait, what does that mean? So felons who are procreating have more kids in general than non-felons. What does that stat mean?
They have more children with felons than non. It's like
So-
I don't remember if it's violent felons versus.
This is funny. So now, anytime he throws out a stat, he positions that stat as absolute fact and truth. But then when Pearl throws out a stat, he wants to pick it apart.
versus non-violent felons, but I just remember violent felons have more children than non-violent felons.
And so there's men who are looking at that and they're pissed.
No, not
I've
that.
never heard that stat in my life.
No, I think just surprised.
Right, I've
Because,
never heard that stat.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, is there a source for that? It just seems kind of an odd stat. Like, what does it prove? Felons have more kids than non-felons.
What do you mean, what does that prove, Ethan? It means that women, modern women, are more attracted to men with violent proclivities. Like, what the fuck do you think that means, dude?
Well, I think the reasoning is because women want a guy that can, like, protect her, basically.
A felon?
Yeah.
That's a weird...
Why do you think Ted Bundy had, like, love letters?
Oh, well, that's a whole different weird phenomenon about women.
No. It is the same thing.
Being interested. Some weird niche
No, but
women
that's the
involved.
point.
All serial killers.
That's surprising.
Right, it is surprising, but I don't think it's any interesting commentary on the dating scene that serial killers get love letters from.
Nah. But it is. See what he's doing? He is taking everything. He is taking everything literally. Yes, serial killers do get love letters, but how that relates to modern dating is that women are more attracted to men who display violent proclivities. That's what the overall point is. This is where Pearl messes up. She makes good statements, but she seems to lack the ability, at least for now, to flesh out what she's trying to say. Because all Ethan is doing is taking the headline and just responding to the headline without reading the paragraphs. Women have more kids with violent felons than non-violent felons. Right? Let her flesh that out. What she means to be saying is that women are more attracted to men who have violent proclivities. That's what she's saying.
From freaks, you know what I mean? Richard Ramirez did too. All serial killers do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the point is it's one, like, it's not the same for women. It's just men.
So what is your point exactly? That what does that prove? That felons have more kids than non-felons?
You know, a lot of times women pick the bad boys. You know, I mean,
there you go.
That's pretty much it.
There it is.
Having more kids.
With, I mean, a guy that's a violent felon. You don't think?
Yes.
Is there a source for that? It's just a really weird stat.
This is funny. He keeps looking at his monitor. Guys, he keeps looking at his monitor. He cannot debate without a monitor. That's why he's confused. See, here's the thing. Pearl just explained it perfectly. He's like, well, what does that prove? What does that mean? Well, it means that girls pick the bad boys. Bingo. And now, because he disagrees, he's going to say, well, where's the stat on that? That's what people do. This is what people do, right? When they don't have a rebuttal. They say, where's the stat? Where's the peer-reviewed? Blah, 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 blah. They don't have a rebuttal. Everybody knows that all stats can be made to say whatever you want. Namely, the ones that Ethan is doing now. So what his team is doing now behind the scenes is looking for a study or statistic to refute what Pearl just said.
I'm just trying to grapple with it.
I can get it in a second.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, we can try to look for it too. I just want to hear what's
in.
Here we go. Yep. We can try to look for it too. Translation. We are going to do our level best to try to find a statistic that refutes what you just said. This isn't a debate, guys. This is an attempt to make her look bad. And he threw her off the scent with that, I hope this is in good faith.
Yeah, Casey Anthony got love letters apparently, so she was
No, she didn't. No, she was not a serial killer, Ethan. See, here we go. Casey Anthony didn't get fucking love letters. She got a love letter from the dude she was fucking. Number one. Number two, Ethan, Casey Anthony is not a serial killer. She only killed, well, hell, she was acquitted for killing her daughter. So she's not even but we all know she did it, but she's not a serial killer.
Killer, right? Oh, she killed her daughter.
Not serial, just a one-time.
So Casey Anthony murdered her daughter and she was getting love letters too. She got letters proposing marriage. Don't you find that surprising?
Yeah, that is surprising.
So
what does that prove, Ethan?
Sense it's not, it goes both ways, kind of when you
No, it does not go both ways.
Look at it holistically.
No.
Yeah, no, I think it's more so for women pick violent men more than men pick violent women.
Yes, thank you.
I think you can just I would just say I would guess that it's more common with women because of that study versus like a fringe case. I would be surprised if women got the same amount of letters, but you know, I could be
You
wrong.
might be surprised, but
No. Women do not get the same amount of letters. They don't get the same amount of letters, y'all. They don't.
do you feel that sometimes you argue from emotion rather than like concrete facts? I find that when you talk about, and I've watched a lot of your videos, you say stuff that I don't think has much of a backing in reality. It's based on feelings, maybe instead of not emotions, but feelings.
No, that is literally what Pearl does not do. Ethan is wrong. Pearl does not argue based on emotions. She is a very rare breed of woman who is able to compartmentalize the way she feels about something to admit the truth. This is why she says, modern women, we like violent men. Modern women, we like the bad boys. We like the players. Pearl acknowledges that, hey, you know what? I'm not no unicorn. I like the bad boys too. Right? rather than getting in her feelings and trying to save face. No, I don't like the bad boys.
You say, I feel this to be true. Do you feel you do that a lot or no?
No, he did not say I feel this to be true.
I try. I would say I'm a woman, so sometimes, yeah.
Okay. Interesting
But-
defense.
You know. Hold on. Do you want me to find it or no?
Sure, yeah. I'll give you a minute. That's totally fine. Okay. So why should I engage in a conversation with you at all if women are just emotional? Shouldn't I be talking to a man about this?
Probably.
Why do you bother to even have a platform? Shouldn't you just concede to a man?
Yeah, probably. You know.
Very good. Now she's agreeing and amplifying. Now, see, Pearl knows. Pearl now knows that Ethan is on the attack. He is trying to get... This is so funny. He just accused her of being emotional, right? Well, if you're so emotional, then, why even have a platform? You should probably have a platform, right? Yeah, probably. You should probably refer to a man, right? Yeah, probably. Pearl just lets it roll off her back. Ethan is trying to trigger her, and he can't, because Pearl does not act based on her emotions. He literally just made an accusation, baseless accusation, put it to the test. Pearl's like, okay, I know what you're trying to do. I'm going to agree and amplify.
So we got to look for a man to replace you. What do you think?
No, not really.
You don't think? Okay. But you do think women are more
Can I-
emotional.
okay, I gotta find. Hold
Go
on.
ahead. I'll give you a minute. Sorry. I won't
Okay, sorry. I'm trying to
That's all
talk to
good.
you and find it at the same time.
Yeah, I'll give you a minute there. But it's fine too. We can move on. I'll give you a minute, but we don't have to get stuck on it.
Okay.
Oh, we don't have to get stuck on it. Oh, ain't that something? We don't have to get stuck on something, on a statistic that flies directly in the face of your argument. Got it.
It's fine. I mean, it's fine. We can move on.
Might be waiting a while.
I found it.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, perfect.
Ethan, you got a team of 38 people helping you. Nobody's found it yet? Yeah, the reason why nobody's found it is because it goes against your argument.
There we go. What's it called? I'll pull it up.
Here. The link, he pulls up the study in the stream, so the link is on here.
Whose stream is it?
It's Rolo's stream.
Rolo
But
Tony Brown?
yeah, he's great actually.
I know you're a fan. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, he's really nice.
I like his headwear.
I like when he rocks out.
where do I send it to?
Send it in the Zoom chat.
The Zoom chat, yeah.
Or you
Oh,
can
it's
just
on
tell
my
me the
phone.
name of it and I can pull it up.
Okay,
You
it's
would?
in Rolo Tomasi is offensive and vile. It's like 7 months ago. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll look into it. So if women are so emotional, do you think it's bad faith in terms of an argument to argue from feelings and to present feelings as facts? Do you think that's a bad faith way to argue or no?
No, I was kind of kidding. I was like
What were you
joking.
kidding about?
When I don't know, whatever you were asking me earlier, you were like, do you? I don't even remember. You said something like, "Do you think you should have a platform?" Or like,
Well, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I asked and you said, well, I'm a woman. Of course I'm going to. I asked you, do you feel that you make arguments based on feeling? And you said, yes, I do because I'm a woman.
oh yeah.
No, she says, I'm a woman, so yes, I do sometimes. Yes, Pearl admits that she's a woman and sometimes she can get in her feelings. Right? She admits it. I'm a woman. I get emotional. But the reason why Pearl is where she is because she's not emotional on her platform. Sometimes she can get emotional. She's a woman. But it's very rare.
Yeah, I was kidding. No, I use facts to back up my arguments. Sometimes I'd say I'm wrong. Sometimes I think something and it's not correct. But I would say most of my opinions, I try to at least have a basis of fact. Yes.
Okay.
Some things you just see in reality, right? I mean, like
Some things you
sometimes
just
you're
see.
gonna. Yeah, I mean, you can.
This is what I was talking about. She says, some things you just see. This is the empirical data that I was talking about, guys. Let me look up the definition of empirical data because Alex was playing with fire. Oh, Jesus Christ. Empirical data. Empirical data definition. Empirical data originating in or based on observation or experience. In other words, the things that you have seen and things that you have gone through. Observation, seen it, experienced, lived it. Number 2, relying on experience or observation alone without due regard for, and then it ends. Right? That's what empirical data is.
And like some things you just learn from interviewing hundreds of people. You see patterns.
Right. But sometimes when you interview people, you interviewing specific people with specific experiences, you're obviously going to run into a bias.
No, I don't think so. Because we do street interviews all the time too. So that's like random people on the street.
There you go.
Okay, fair enough. So there's the red pill.
He got her. There it was. See that? See that? He tried to pigeonhole Pearl. Okay, well, the reason why you keep finding all of these, people is because they're biased. She's like, well, we do street interviews. It's randoms. There it is. Okay. She's not being cooked yet, guys.
Which are people who see the world for what it is. And then you have blue-pilled people, which I'm assuming is someone like me. I don't put words in your mouth. But what does blue-pilled mean?
People that see the world for how they like it to be, I guess.
Okay.
But I don't talk much about, I guess, like blue pill, but yeah.
Okay, fair enough. We don't have to focus in on that. So I've noticed that one of the primary...
Stephen Proctor with the $5 super chat says, Myron said it, Ethan's wife is in the gym. The moment she realizes she can do better, Ethan will be the next victim of hypergamy. Maybe.
Focuses of your content is kind of the problems facing men and how there's so much unfair societal pressures or norms or expectations on men. Why is it that you're so singularly focused on the troubles of men?
Why am I focused on the troubles of men? That's an interesting way to, I guess, phrase my content. I would say I think it's unfortunate what happens to men in divorce court. So that's probably what I talk about the most. Is I think that men should have access to their children.
That's not what you talk about the most. You definitely talk about stuff like pay gap myth. You talk about men want younger girls. You talk about men are just doing what's in their nature. You talk about women who have higher body count are less desirable. I'll be honest, I watched a lot of your stuff, and the vast majority is not about divorce court. It's about this kind of like dating coach stuff.
No, I wouldn't say I'm a dating coach, but okay.
No, but that realm, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mean you're a dating coach, but like that kind of realm it seems that you're super focused on. So what is your interest in that? Manosphere, maybe that's a better term, manosphere stuff.
Ethan, it interests her. She doesn't have to justify to you why she does this kind of content, right? She doesn't need your approval to talk about men's issues, right? The reason why Pearl has gotten as big as she is because she is one of a few women who actually keeps it 100 about the plight of men. That's why. But Ethan, she does not need your approval to do what the hell she does. Now she's sounding like Hafiz. You should do it this way. Nah, bruh. No.
What is my interest? I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, so that's what we talk about.
Okay.
There you go.
That's fair. So what is, you say your anti-feminism, feminism was basically a mistake. So what is your problem with feminism? Let's start there. That's a good point. Right.
I think that feminism wants equality when it benefits us and not actual equality.
Feminism, and are you going back to the beginning of feminism? Like the whole history of feminism, like women's suffrage and everything?
Yeah, no, I don't.
You don't fuck with women's suffrage?
No.
See, do you see what he just did there? Pearl is talking about modern feminism. Ethan knows she's right about modern feminism. He knows. So what did he do? He said, all right, well, let's go all the way back to the beginning. And now he's like, oh, you don't fuck with women's suffrage? This is a gotcha interview. This is ridiculous.
You don't think women should get the right to vote?
No, I don't.
Okay, so are you serious or are you kidding?
No, I'm serious.
Okay, so women shouldn't have the right to vote.
Yeah.
Why?
No. Because men are signed up for selective service, so they're fined $300,000 if they don't sign up for selective service when they're 18.
Do you think women should be drafted into the army?
Yes.
I think if we want the same rights, it comes with the same responsibilities.
Do you think women should be drafted into the army?
No.
Okay, so then there's a paradox.
No, but that's my point. I'm saying, like, let's make it fair.
You don't believe? Well, listen, this is your perfect.
Well, I'm saying that if we are going to vote, have the same cost, which is that men are put into selective service and women are not. And if I had to pick between the two, then I would give up the right to vote instead of sign up for selective service.
Okay, so
what she's trying to say is that women don't have a dog in the fight as far as wars are concerned. They don't. Most women are single and childless, right? We know this. Most women look at getting married as some sort of scarlet letter, some sort of scourge of the earth type deal. What Pearl is saying is if you have to go and fight and die for our country while people back at home are not required, the women are not required to register, but they are putting people in office who are going to make decisions on war, then you got to have some skin in the game.
So you're saying women should only get the right to vote if they sign up for selective service, but at the same time, you're saying women should not serve in the military. So in your world, women are just going to be disenfranchised. They're not going to be able to sign. They shouldn't serve in the military because they're not as good fighters.
No,
right?
no, I'm saying for me personally, I would not want to sign up for selective service if I had to pick.
So
I would give that up.
you think women should be given the choice if they want to do selective service or not?
I think if we're going to vote, we should have no choice like the men do.
So women should be drafted mandatory into selective service, you believe?
No. That's,
okay, but don't you see the law? There's an issue. There's a problem here.
I said, if feminists want the right to vote, right, then it should come with the draft. It should come. I mean, it's not called the draft anymore. It's called selective service. Personally, in Pearl's world, I do not want to be drafted. I do not want to be in selective service. So
I'm asking you like, in general in terms of policy, because obviously I think it's safe to say women in general want the right to vote, right? And so then, by your logic, women need to be entered into selective service. Right? But you don't think that should happen, or you think that's okay?
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Not you. I mean, in general, the women, because women want to vote. So how do we resolve this issue? Do they get drafted like men?
I mean, I think it's unlikely that.
Well, Ethan, women are going to have the right to vote until the end of time.
Women will ever have the right to vote taken away. So I guess moving forward, maybe net taxpayers potentially you could do, but that's that's a whole nother conversation. But
wait,
no, I think if we're gonna vote, I think that we should have the same responsibility as the men and be enlisted in selective service.
Okay.
that's
Okay, so you're saying women should also have to sign up for selective service when they turn 18, like men.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to be equal, make it equal.
Okay.
And for me, I don't want to do that. No, thank you. Keep me out of that.
Okay, so I understand that's your preference, but I'm just trying to understand like the policy that in your.
No, Ethan, you're not trying to understand anything. You're trying to make her sound and look stupid. Like, dude, you can tell. Again, guys, look, man, say whatever the hell you want about Pearl, but Ethan is not debating her by himself. He's got a whole team back there helping him out.
Your red pill. We're doing the red pill. We're seeing the world as it is.
No, I wouldn't assign that belief to like red pill. That's not really like a red pill belief. That's
Okay.
just mine.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make a point about. So do you think having women in the army would weaken our
Oh
military?
my God, Jesus,
Yes.
fuck.
So then, probably don't draft women into the army.
Yeah, but then take away the vote with it.
But you're not giving that. That doesn't seem very fair. You see what I'm saying? Did you say, well, you guys are weak?
It doesn't seem very fair, but it's not fair that women have the same rights in terms of putting people into office, but only men are required to sign up for selective service. That's what's not fair.
You guys are going to weaken our military. So we don't want you in the military. But because you're not in the military, you don't get the right to vote. It's a catch-22. You know what I mean? So what do we do about that?
Well, I'll tell you what I think we should do.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, it goes back to, I just think that you have to have some skin in the game. And so it's like, if we're voting for a commander-in-chief, right, that's the person that decides if we go to war, we
Thank you. There we go.
don't go to war. And so it's easy to, again, I think that if you're going to vote, you should have the same responsibility as the men. And women don't want to do that. It's either we're equal or we're not equal.
Okay. Well,
I don't think Ethan is comprehending what Pearl is saying. What Pearl is saying is that in Pearl's world, voting shouldn't be a right. It should be a privilege. That's what she's saying. If you're required to sign up for selective service and fight and die, etc., then you should get the right to vote. You should get the right to vote. But just like Pearl said, like, we vote for our commander-in-chief. He's the person that decides whether or not we go to war. And so it would be advantageous of the people who would actually fight in a war, should a war be approved by the commander-in-chief, to have a say in who that commander-in-chief should be. That's it. If you as a woman know that you are never ever going to fight in a war, then what do you care about a president's proclivities, right? Like, what do I care? Like, dude, I'm 45 years old. I couldn't get into the military. I'm old and I'm overweight. They don't want me. I got a temper problem. I got a criminal record a mile long. You know what I'm saying? That's how this works, guys. So, and I can't vote because I am a multiple-time convicted felon. But even if I wasn't, I would be very wary if I were a 21-year-old kid and I know that I've registered for the selective service, and I know I've got two candidates. One is, we got to go to war, and the other one is like, no, we need more diplomacy. Right? Now, hey, if you're a 21-year-old kid and you're like, yo, let's go stop those Russians. Let's go out there and, hey, put the warmonger in office. You have every right to vote for that because you have skin in the game. You would have to go and fight. But if you're a 21-year-old kid and you know you have to fight and you want to vote for a president that is more likely than not to take you to war, you can vote for that person. But if I'm not in the military, what do I care? I'm just going to vote for the person who benefits me the most. If we go to war, no problem. I'm not over there. Why should I care?
Well, just to be
equal,
fair.
if we're really equal, have the same responsibility. But again, it's equality when it benefits us.
There you go.
Well, but your logic doesn't even make sense. I mean, you're talking
No.
about, first of all, there hasn't been a draft in the United States in 50 years, right?
Okay. That has nothing to do with this conversation.
So if there was a draft, maybe we could have this conversation, but it just seems kind of silly. In 50 years, there hasn't been a mandatory draft. It just hasn't happened.
This is funny. So only when there's a draft, we can have this conversation. Ethan, you brought this up, fam. You brought this up. You know that Pearl has said publicly that women should not have the right to vote if they're not in selective service. You brought that up. But here's the thing. Now that Pearl has effectively dismantled all of his talking points and have prevented him from sharping her, trying to make her look bad, he's saying, now he's going back to, well, there hasn't been a selective service in 50 years, so why even have this conversation? Translation. I lost that argument. Ethan, you brought up voting. You know what Pearl says about voting. She just won that segment. And now you're going to make it look like we shouldn't even be talking about this because there is no selective service. Take the L, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
So
Look, he's got nothing. Look,
So why is
he's
it a
got
big deal, I guess, about the selective service? But there's not going to be another draft. You know what I mean? There's enough people in the army. I don't think that there's going to be a draft. It's just not going to happen. And with the way technology is going, we're going to have autonomous robot fighters before there's a draft. You know what I mean? So why does it matter? I just don't see the point with the selective service thing.
I just think it's, again, like, women want all the rights without the
What other
responsibility.
ones?
If you don't think that there's going to be a draft, then equally do what the men do. Men are getting $300,000.
They don't have the option. They don't even have the option right now.
Right, so give them the option.
Okay,
I'm
let's
just
give them the
saying,
option.
equal. Make it equal.
But
Not the option. It has to be mandatory.
I
If
know
we're
what
gonna
you're
make
saying, like women want the right to vote, but they don't want to enter in selective service, but it's not an option. So how do you know what all women want?
I don't know what all women want.
So then why are you saying things?
No, you don't know what all women want, but I'm fairly confident in saying that most women probably won't want to pick up an M16 and go to war.
That are generalized all women.
I'm saying no, okay, because I'm looking at the policies that have been pushed. And I'm saying the policies are not like where are the feminists fighting for equality in this situation? Like when
yeah, I mean, again, it's not that relevant, but also no women in the army is kind of
It's not that relevant, yet you wanted to talk about this. Guys, I don't know, like, so far so good. So far so good.
Product of patriarchy, because women are looked at as that they'd weaken the military, as you pointed out. Is that possible that it's been driving that policy and not so much women?
I didn't say women drove that policy. I said they don't try to make it equal. It's only equal when it benefits us.
Thank you.
Even if nobody's being actually drafted.
I mean, 50 years isn't, that long of. I mean, who's to say? You don't know, but okay.
50 years. I mean, the last man drafted was like during
men are-
Vietnam.
Oh, okay. So now Ethan's a prognosticator. Well, because we haven't had a draft in 50 years, we're probably never going to have a draft. You don't know that. You don't know the future, Ethan. You are not clairvoyant, my friend. So he has lost the argument. He's lost the argument. Let's get that right. He's lost the argument. And so now he's going to try and say, this is a non-starter because we haven't had a draft in 50 years and we probably won't have one for another 50 years. That's not a defense. That's not a talking point. That's not a rebuttal, Ethan. You asked her the question, she answered. And because she doesn't look stupid, you want to continue to harp on the point and pretend it's irrelevant, even though you brought it up. Gotcha.
Wasn't it?
Do you not think it should be equal? So you think that it shouldn't be?
No, I think what you're saying is fair, but it's not making any sense. Like, okay, sure, let's put women.
If it's fair, then how does it not make sense? It's fair, but it's not making sense. How is something fair if it doesn't make sense, Ethan? What he literally just said there, you have a good point, but I want to continue to argue this until I feel like I'm right. That's it. It's fair, but it doesn't make sense. Guys, where's the L? Where is the L, y'all?
Women into selective service. Fine. I'm fine with that. I think it's fine.
Huh?
I think everyone should sign up for it. And there's other ways that people can support the military other than being on the front line, right?
Oh, stop it.
Right.
Stop it. Yep.
So
yes.
What other rights do women want? You know what I mean? That are contradictory.
Okay, women want the right to not be a mother, but men don't have the right to not be a father. So women can have a, which I know it varies state. I'm in the UK, so I forget. Sometimes the US is different by state, but like in the UK, abortion's free up to 6 months, but a man can't opt out of child support. So it's like, why does he have the right to not be a father, but women don't? Or why do women have the right to not be mothers, but men don't have the right to not be fathers? I don't think that's fair or equal.
Sorry, just to go back for a sec. So feminists actually do. They want the draft abolished. So
Oh my God. So now, see, you see this? You see this? His team was feverishly working behind the scenes. And they just came up with an article that says, well, feminists actually want the draft to be abolished.
their point is, let's not sign up for the service. Let's abolish the draft altogether. So they are fighting for equality. They are against the draft.
Dude, no. That, no.
Should be no draft. So men and women shouldn't be drafted. That is also equality, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, okay.
So you accept the premise is wrong on that?
No.
I don't. I mean, it's still not equal the way it is. But yeah, what they're saying.
It's not equal the way it is, sure. And
yeah,
feminists agree. Feminists agree with you.
Oh, okay. I've never heard them talk about that, but.
Do you listen to a lot of feminist ideology? Do you read books? Do you listen to lectures? Do you listen to a lot of that stuff?
So I talk to feminists all the time.
Right. I haven't seen you talk to an actual scholar once. You just talk to kind of random women.
Oh, but the random. Oh, see, here we go. See? She just kicked his ass up and down, and now he's going. So now what he is doing, guys, this is obvious, y'all. This is obvious. Ethan's not making any points. All he's doing is arguing with her, trying to get her to gotcha. Pearl just said, I talk to feminists all the time. Well, not scholarly feminists. What? Ethan, there is a reason she has 1.5 million subscribers. It's because it's because her talking points are the truth. Well, not scholarly. So what, now you have to sign off on the feminists that she talks to? You have to sign up? Well, I don't know. She's only got a master's degree in feminism or women's studies, so she doesn't count. This is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, that's fair to say. Right.
No.
So when you say you talk to feminists, you just mean like random women off the street.
No, that's not
Not
what I mean.
That say they're feminists.
Yeah, but but feminism
Doesn't count?
it's like a
It doesn't count.
well, you said you know what feminists believe because you talked to a lot of feminists, but I'm talking about like.
No, I said I've never heard them bring it up. So.
Do you have any interest in talking to feminist scholars who are more aware with like kind of what feminism?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Absolutely.
Good.
Send them to the UK.
But they're in the UK.
No, I actually tried for some, but then they'll be like, "You're a hateful woman." Da 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 da. There's one that's I can't remember.
Dude, guys, look, man, I'm not seeing the L yet. I'm not seeing the L. All Ethan is doing is playing gotcha. Pearl is just being truthful. Ethan keeps trying to play gotcha. He spun her words. She said, "I've never heard feminists bring up abolish the draft." But then Ethan, he escalated that all to, well, how do you know what feminists want? She didn't say she knew what feminists want. She just said that she's never heard a feminist bring up the abolishment of the draft. So now Ethan is like, oh, well, you don't really talk to feminists. She talks to feminists every day. You don't think Donalva's a feminist? You don't think fucking, what's her name? Queen Esther is a feminist? Seriously? So now that she has proven to him, listen, I've talked to enough people, well, those people don't count because they're not scholarly feminists. Then Pearl says it doesn't count. Ethan goes off on another one.
Some blonde chick out here. Can't remember her name, but yeah, she didn't want to come on.
Blondes.
No, I'm just saying that's what she looked like. I don't know her name. I forget.
But like,
okay, but let's not let that get lost in translation. Pearl wanted feminists to be on. She's had Destiny on. She's had Melina on. Oh, I'm sorry. They're not scholarly feminists.
I mean, my point is like when you just bring a random girl and they say, yeah, I'm a feminist. It's kind of like the Steven Crowder changed my mind versus like actually talking to someone who's involved in like the scholastics, the academia of what feminism means historically. And
No. Feminism doesn't thrive in academia, Ethan. It thrives on the streets. Feminism's effects are evident in our female population. That's how you know feminism has been effective. You can't just talk to a bunch of scholars, right? Because then let's just say, for example, this is what I know Ethan would do. Let's just say, for example, Pearl interviewed 24 feminist scholars. You know what Ethan would say? Well, you're only talking to women who are scholars. You're not really talking to like the average, regular, every woman. You're just talking to scholars. There's always going to be something wrong. This is why you know this. Ethan is arguing in bad faith. His whole team is arguing in bad faith.
Modern day and previously. So the level of discourse you would have is obviously different. So feminists are in favor of equality, though. So I don't know if that's interested you.
No, they're not in favor of equality. They're in favor of equality when it benefits them. Feminists want equal outcomes, Ethan. They don't want equal responsibility. They want equal outcomes. They don't want equal opportunities. They want equal outcomes. Women, dude, today's women have all of the advantages. And they're worse than they've ever been. And the reason they bitch about it is because they are not getting the outcome they want. Women get all the opportunities. They get all the opportunities. Diversity hiring, female scholarships for STEM, etc., etc. Men, we're still kicking their ass up and down the economy. The reason they're pissed is because they're not getting equal outcomes.
You are not. You don't believe me?
I'll take your word.
You can trust me. I'm a man.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on. We're talking about feminism. So so you're talking about divorce court. Sorry, I know you were making a point, so let's go back to that. You were saying that.
No, we already talked about divorce court, Ethan. Dude. He doesn't even remember what the hell they were talking about.
Women can decide to terminate a pregnancy, therefore they can choose to be a mom, but men cannot decide that, and they don't get the.
Do you hear this? This is funny. He just got reminded. Watch this. This is why you know he's getting help. Watch this.
We're talking about feminism. So so you're talking about divorce court. Sorry, I know you were making a point, so let's go back to that. You were saying that women can decide to terminate a pregnancy, therefore they can choose to be a mom, but men cannot decide that, and they don't get the choice to be the dad.
To not be a dad.
Did you see that? He said, what were we talking about before? Oh, yeah, divorce court. And then he starts talking about what they were talking about while looking at the screen. Watch.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on. We're talking about feminism.
No, we're not talking about feminism.
So what other? So you're talking about divorce court?
No, we're not talking about divorce court. You were talking about Noit Roba.
Or, sorry, I know you were making a point, so let's go back to that. You were saying that women can decide to terminate a pregnancy.
Bingo. There it is. There it is. Somebody brought his attention to the screen, and now he's like, oh, yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Therefore, they can choose to be a mom, but men cannot decide that, and they don't get the choice to be the dad.
To not be a dad.
Right. So do you think that, like, you do not think that the idea that the baby, obviously the reason for that, right, which we both know, is that because the baby's inside the woman's body.
I don't think that matters. Yeah.
I don't think it matters
I
either.
mean, personally, I'm pro-life, so I don't believe in abortion at all. But again, it's the double standard. It's like the women have a choice, but men do not have a choice.
Sure. No, I see that there is a sense to that, which is unfair. Although there are
Did Ethan just conceded? But here we go.
a lot of single moms, as you pointed out.
Yeah, that are on child support, you know.
Thank you.
Not all, but, you know.
Well, men have the choice in the sense that they can just wear a condom.
Right.
if they don't
women
want to be
have yeah, right. But women have the choice to go on birth control.
Okay.
Thank
Women
you.
have the choice to take Plan B. Women have the choice to get an abortion. Women have the choice to, you know, take the morning after pill. Women have the choice to use like IUD. There's a million pills.
Right, but those will have to do with pregnancy. But I'm saying if a man,
No, those do have to do with pregnancy. Bruh. No pregnancy, no kid. What?
The
Listen.
morning after pill. Women have the
Listen. Pearl is kicking his ass all up and down. Well, men can wear a condom. Okay. Men, we can wear condoms. But a woman knows the difference between a condom dick and a condom-less dick. It's come on. Not only that, men can just wear a condom. Okay, very, very true. But then here's what Pearl says.
right.
they
And
don't
women
want to
have
be
yeah, right. But women have the choice to go on birth control.
Boom!
Women have the
But
choice to take Plan B. Women have the choice to get an abortion. Women have the choice to, you know, take the morning after pill. Women have the choice to use like IUD. There's a million pills.
right, but those will have to do with pregnancy. But I'm saying if a
and
man,
He says that doesn't have to do with Ethan. No pregnancy, no baby. No pregnancy, no abortion. No pregnancy, no child support.
Women also can require men to put on condoms or not put on condoms.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Women can also require that the men that they sleep with wear condoms.
Right, but if
So
it's
that's what I'm
inherent,
saying.
if it's inherently unfair to men, the easy solution is just it kills all this discussion is men just put on condoms when they have sex. Therefore,
Or women can stop letting these dudes hit it raw.
that
Well, you can also say women close your legs. Like
yeah, but you're the one saying that it's unfair for men. That's my point. You're saying men
no,
don't
I'm
have a
saying
choice.
I'm saying women have like 10 choices. The men have.
But that's just
condom-
biology.
The men have condom or no
Here
condom,
we
which
go.
again is a choice that both of them make because the women can require that the men wear condoms too.
Right.
But you're
Ooh, you know what? Here comes that Mike Tyson's punch out. Fuck what you heard. Fuck what you heard. She just got him there. Yeah. Yes, men can decide, but the difference is that the condom is a two-person choice. The condom is a two-person choice. If a guy doesn't, if the guy decides not to wear a condom, it is the woman's responsibility to stop him and make him put on a condom. It is a two-person decision. Two-person decision. Well, if a man just puts on a condom, okay, that's very, very true. But the women need to require these men to wear condoms, even though they have 174 types of birth control. Ha! He just got smoked.
I'm just saying.
okay.
I'm saying
Once the baby is conceived,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Then the man has no choice, where the woman has a choice.
Okay, so let's just talk about that then, because
No. Once the sperm leaves the man's body, he has no reproductive rights. That's the point she's making.
what's your opinion that if a woman is pregnant, the man should be able to decide for her to have an abortion?
I'm pro-life, so I would ban it altogether. My point is the double standard, where a man is legally obligated to pay child support and will go to jail if he doesn't, but the woman has the choice to not be a mother through abortion.
I know you're against abortion, but I just want to know what you mean. So let's just say,
What do you mean, what you mean? She's against abortion. See? You see, this is why we know he's just trying to play gotcha. And there he is again, looking at that goddamn monitor.
we're trying to make it equal for men. So should men be able to decide for a woman to have an abortion if she's pregnant?
No, they shouldn't have to decide that. They shouldn't have to decide that, but they should be able to decide whether or not they want to pay child support. I think that it should be a man's right to go to court and say, hey, look, man, this woman is pregnant. I want her to have an abortion. She's not having an abortion, so I want to relinquish my parental rights. Oh, that'd be a problem. That's where it's not fair.
I think that men should be able to sign off on child support.
Okay, so if they say, hey, I don't want anything to do with this baby,
Yeah.
then the
Yes.
woman can decide to have it, but the father will have no obligations.
There you go.
And you think that's better for society?
Yes.
No, I think that's equal. That's more fair.
Okay, so you're more interested in fairness than the welfare of society as a whole?
No,
Yes, Ethan. because the fairness of society as a whole is based on fairness. See, he's trying to make her sound like, wait a minute, come on, this is so disingenuous. This is so disingenuous. This guy read every debate book, how to win every argument. He's got a team of 5 people back there doing research. This is crazy.
It was up to me if we wanted to go what's good for society. I don't think abortion should be legal.
No, I know. We're having.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying if you want to make it fair, like I don't think that's fair that the woman after she gets pregnant, so they both make the irresponsible decision, right? Because you'd agree it's irresponsible if it's an unplanned pregnancy that the woman, had sex with a guy without protection, right? You'd agree? Yes.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. So you would agree that's equally irresponsible when it first happens.
Although I guess by your logic, it would be more irresponsible for the man because he has less choices. But yeah, they're both doing something.
No. It's more irresponsible for the woman because she has more choices. Do you see? Every time she tries to pin him down, he adds another caveat because he knows he's losing the argument.
Well, but yeah, they're both irresponsible. So my point is, after that happens, women have the choice to not be a mother, but men don't have the choice not to be a father. At least, if they don't pay child support, they can go to jail.
Right, because that's for the benefit of the children, which is what's the most important thing.
Yeah, but is it for the benefit of the kid to kill him? Like,
say what?
It's not for the benefit of the kid. Like the woman can make.
There it is. She should have expounded on that. Well, it's not the benefit of the kid. Well, yeah, that's very true. But is it the benefit of the kid to abort him? Come on, man.
Wait, what do you mean to kill who?
I mean, I'm pro-life, so again,
abort the baby.
So, so if we're gonna go for
yeah,
the benefit
Ethan,
of the kid,
keep
if
up.
your argument is let's do what's best for the benefit of the kid. The benefit of the kid is not killing the child. Right? I mean, and for me, like I believe it's a kid, right? You might not.
But what's that have to do with the fairness to the man? I don't understand that.
You don't understand. It's not fair, again, that men have the choice, that men do not have the choice.
I understand what you're saying.
And women, yeah.
But then, okay, whatever.
Ethan, what?
We're arguing in circles a little bit.
No. There it is. He kept trying to get her. He kept trying to play gotcha. And when it became apparent that he could not get her, all right, let's move on. We're arguing in circles. Ethan is he's lost every argument so far. Now, maybe he makes a comeback, but he's lost them all so far. All he's doing is playing gotcha. They're going around and around. Level Up Man says he keeps moving the goalposts. He keeps moving the goalposts around and around, and when it becomes clear that he has nowhere else to go, okay, let's move on. Guys, that's not getting cooked. That is not getting cooked. Pearl did not concede anything. You dumb niggas who said, well, she couldn't substantiate her claims. Really? Give me an example. Because if by substantiate her claim, you mean come with the stats and statistics, guess what you would have said? Well, stats and statistics can be made to say whatever you want. Guys, just admit the reason why you think Pearl took the L is because you don't like her. But you guys want to get on me for being biased? Ethan is moving the goalpost. He's clearly arguing in bad faith. He's getting help from his entire team, but he won the debate. So far, I got it. Dude, so far, I've got it 30-27. I got it 30-27. I got 10-9, 10-9 for every round.
Let's talk about abortion then, since you're against abortion. I'm assuming your stance is abortion should be off the table in any situation.
Oh my God, here we go. Off the table in any situation. What about rape? What about incest? Blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
So if a dad rapes his daughter, then
Here
he
we
needs to give birth to that baby.
That's less than 1% of cases. Why do you guys always bring up?
No, but that's important, Pearl.
The most,
Because if you're going to have a conversation about difficult things, let's talk about the difficult things. This is why the laws exist. The laws exist to protect that little girl.
Oh, now he's in his
The
feelings.
most common thing.
That's easy. That's easy. That's not what's difficult about this.
But I'm saying we can get to the difficult things later. But it's like, why do you guys bring
Because that's the interesting part. I'm telling you, the law is there to protect on those fringe cases.
I'm saying,
I'm telling you why.
Why don't we start with the majority of abortions?
Yes, the majority of the cases. Law should be based on the majority, not the fringe.
You think, okay.
What do you want to say? You don't agree with abortion. So, like, if men and women have sex...
This is unbelievable. This guy.
That's not what's difficult about this.
But I'm saying we can get to the difficult things later. But it's like, why do you guys bring
Because that's the interesting part. I'm telling you, the law is there to protect on those fringe cases.
I'm saying,
I'm telling you why.
Why don't we start with the majority of
abortions? Didn't we just do that?
You think, okay.
What do you want to say? You don't agree with abortion. So, like, if men and women have sex and they're both being irresponsible, then sure, I understand. You say abortion's bad because we don't want to murder babies. That's not controversial. That's easy to understand. The point of these laws is to protect the little girl who's raped by her dad. These are the challenging issues. So this is why I ask you about it, because this is the
well, Ethan, fam, if a girl is raped by her father, her life is already over. Man, that baby did not ask to be conceived. It didn't. All Ethan is trying to do is justify abortion, and he's doing it in the most extreme cases.
The byproduct of your position of no abortions are allowed under any circumstance. So if you're willing to take that position, you can't just dismiss this because you are saying that this girl who's raped by her dad should have the baby.
I just think we
You need to
spend a
answer
lot of time. Hold on. I just think we spend a lot of time arguing about fringe cases that are less than like 0.5%.
Those are the
of
important
abortions.
cases. That's
and
why
I don't think those are as important as the 99.5% of cases. And so sometimes I think it's a bit disingenuous to say, here's this extreme fringe case that happened. And I don't think you don't make a law for the exception.
Yes,
like,
you do.
You don't make laws.
No, you don't, Ethan. No, you don't make laws for the exception, Ethan. No, you don't. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes, you do? What the fuck is he talking about?
The exception is for the rule. Like, why
that's not an exception. Why is that an exception? Or I mean, exceptions are important to the law.
Okay,
that's the whole point.
Wait, do you not think it's an exception? Like a 13-year-old girl getting raped by her? I don't know what you can say on YouTube.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
I
don't think raped is gonna.
Oh, we stay away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But do you not think that's an exception?
And by exception, but
It's
she
not
was
common.
raped. What do you mean by exception?
Right, like you think it's common.
See, do you see what he's doing? You see what he's doing? See, first he acknowledged that the 13-year-old daughter getting raped by her dad. First he acknowledged that it's the exception. But exceptions are important. Laws should be written based on exception. But now he's saying, well, wait a minute. What exactly makes it an exception? This guy, you guys, I don't know how it, dude. Listen, man, I'm trying to be as biased as possible. And I'm going to admit that I do have a bias for Pearl. She's my friend. We're on the same side. We're on the same team. But any fair-minded person can see that Ethan is simply moving the goalposts. That's all he's doing. Anytime he loses the argument, well, we're arguing in circles and it doesn't really matter. This man just contradicted himself. Let's go back. Where are we at? 5720? Watch.
Most common thing.
That's
first.
easy.
And
That's
then we
easy.
Can, but I'm saying,
That's
so
not
we
what
can,
Watch.
should be off the table in any situation.
Yes.
So if a dad rapes his daughter,
I knew he was going there. Just listen.
then she needs to give birth to that baby.
You know, that's less than 1% of cases. Why do you guys always
No.
bring up? I know,
No,
but
but that's
why do you guys
important,
always
Pearl.
bring up the most like fringe?
Because if you're going to have a conversation about
Okay.
difficult things, let's talk about the difficult things. This
But
is why the laws
let's
exist.
talk
The
about-
laws
but I'm saying
exist to
let's talk
protect that
about the
little
most-
girl.
I'm saying let's talk about the most common thing.
That's
first.
easy.
And then
That's
we can-
easy.
But I'm saying
That's not what's difficult about this.
But I'm saying we can get to the difficult things later. But it's like, why do you guys bring
Because
up
that's the interesting part. I'm telling you, the law is there to protect on those fringe cases.
I'm saying
I'm
why don't
telling
we
you why.
start? Why don't
See, he just called fringe.
we start with the majority of
Didn't we just do
abortions?
that?
No, you didn't just do that. No, you didn't just do that, Ethan. You asked her what her opinion was. You didn't talk about the rule. You brought up the exception.
What do you want to say? You don't agree with abortion. So, like, if a man and women have sex and they're both being irresponsible, then sure, I understand. You say abortion's bad because we don't want to murder babies. That's not controversial. That's easy to understand. The point of these laws is to protect the little girl who's raped by her dad. These are the challenging issues. So this is why I ask you about it, because this is the byproduct of your position of no abortions are allowed under any circumstance. So if you're willing to take that position, you can't just dismiss this because you are saying that this girl who's raped by her dad should have the baby.
I just think we
You need
spend
to
a lot
answer
of time. Hold on. I just think we spend a lot of time arguing about fringe cases that are less than like 0.5%.
Those are the important
abortions.
cases.
Those are the important cases. She says we spend all this time arguing about the fringe cases. Those are the important cases. He just acknowledged that the fringe cases, the exceptions to the rule. He just acknowledged that. Now
I
what?
don't think those are as important as the 99.5% of cases. And so sometimes I think it's a bit disingenuous to say, here's this extreme fringe case that happened. And I don't think you don't make a law for the exception.
Yes,
like,
you do.
You don't make law.
There it is. You don't make the law for the exception. Yes, you do. There's another acknowledgement.
The general law is not for the exception, it's for the rule. Like, why
That's
would
not an
you-
exception. Why is that an exception? Or I mean, exceptions are important to the law. That's the whole point.
Wait, do you not think it's an exception? Like a 13-year-old girl getting raped?
Look, listen. He's going back and forth, guys. He's going back and forth. This is insane. Watch.
You don't make a law for the exception.
Yes,
Like,
you
Watch.
you don't make laws. The general law is not for the exception, it's for the rule. Like, why
That's
would
not
you
an exception. Why is that an
That's not an exception. Why is that an exception? He's not looking down at his laptop. He just fucked up. That's not an exception. How is that an exception? Right? That's not an exception. He's like, well, wait a minute. He just realized he contradicted himself. Now watch. Just watch.
exception? Or I mean, exceptions are important to the law.
Okay,
That's the whole point.
I mean, exceptions are important to the law. So are you going to acknowledge exceptions or are you not?
Wait, do you not think it's an exception? Like a 13-year-old girl getting raped by her dad? I don't know what
Here we
you
go.
can
You can say whatever you want. I don't think raped is gonna.
We stay away.
This is funny. Ethan, it's so funny. Privilege is always invisible to those who have it, right? Ethan has the privilege of talking about whatever he wants without getting canceled. Destiny actually talked about the distribution of child pornography to pedophiles as therapy, and he ain't gone anywhere. Let a nigga like me or Myron or Rolo say some shit like that, and we're done. That's why Ethan's like, yeah, you can say whatever you want. Yeah, must be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But Do you not think that's an exception?
And by exception, but
It's
what do you
not
mean?
common.
What do you mean by exception?
Right. Like, do you think it's
Here
common?
we go.
No, of course it's not common.
Okay. That's my point. Like, we waste.
Do you think that it's less
so much
important?
time.
Do you think it's less important because it's not
I think
as
it's
common?
more. I think it's more important to talk about the 99.5% of abortions.
That's easy. That's an easy conversation. It's not like I get your position there.
Yeah.
But
That's an easy That's an easy conversation. Ethan, that's the point. The easy conversation means that it's obvious. That's the point. That's an easy conversation. That's exactly the point, Ethan. If a woman was not EPARD, then a man should have the right to opt out of fatherhood. That is the point. That's an easy discussion because the conclusion is easy. This guy wants to talk about the exception as it applies to the rule. You can't have it both ways, Ethan.
Yeah,
Pearl, you
yeah.
can write exceptions into laws. That's why they exist. Because why should that girl who's raped by her dad forced to give birth to that baby because you didn't want to have a conversation about her?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would still make it illegal, to be honest. Because again, I think you either think it's a life or you don't. So if you think it's a child, you're never gonna encourage killing a child under any exceptions. So
right. Right. And that's I guess where the big difference comes between abortion, people who are for and against abortion is that we disagree on where life begins, essentially.
Right.
But ultimately, what quality of life do you expect this child to have from like a 13-year-old girl who's raped by her dad?
13-year-old girl who's raped by her dad? What quality of life would the child have? I'll tell you what. The quality of life the child would have would be a lot better quality than being cut up into pieces while still in the womb. Come on.
Is a lower quality life less valuable? Like, that's almost saying if you in a bad situation.
Is a lower quality of life less valuable? Thank you.
And your life is less valuable than someone who isn't. And that's kind of a tricky argument.
Got you.
Not less valuable, but I mean, if we're
But one should be aborted, one shouldn't. So one should be in society, one shouldn't be in society. I would say that's less valuable.
Well, it's more about you were talking about fairness. You were interested in the idea of fairness, right? Instead of the welfare of society. So let's talk about fairness. You know what I mean? Is it?
There you go. See that? He just lost the argument. What does he do? He goes right back to fairness. Guys, Ethan lost. Dude, so far Ethan's lost this debate, y'all. This is ridiculous. This is incredible. Did you guys see what just happened there? Pearl just destroyed this dude. And what does he do? Instead of acknowledging that he's beat, let's just move on. Watch
One should be in society, one shouldn't be in society.
Watch this entire sequence. She absolutely cooks him.
That's my point. Like, we waste.
Do you think that it's less
so much
important?
time.
Do you think it's less important because it's not
I think it's
common?
more. I think it's more important to talk about the 99.5% of abortions.
That's easy. That's an easy conversation. It's not like I get your position there.
Yeah.
But
Pearl,
you can write exceptions into laws. That's why they exist. Because why should that girl who's raped by her dad forced to give birth to that baby because you don't want?
Because that baby is a life. That baby did not ask to be born. That baby did not ask to be conceived.
Have a conversation about her.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would still make it illegal, to be honest. Because again,
this is where she absolutely fucking destroys him. He figures it out, and he switches topics. Watch.
I think you either think it's a life or you don't. So if you think it's a child, you're never gonna encourage killing a child under any exceptions. So
right, right, and that's I guess where the big difference comes between abortion, people for and against abortion is that we disagree on where life begins, essentially.
Right.
But ultimately, what quality of life do you expect this child to have from like a 13-year-old girl who's raped by her dad?
Watch.
Is a lower quality life less valuable?
Whoa!
That's almost saying if you are in a bad situation, your life is less valuable than someone who isn't. And that's kind of a tricky argument.
Not less valuable, but I mean, if we're
but one should be aborted, one shouldn't. So one should be in society, one shouldn't be in society.
Got him.
Well, it's more about you were talking about fairness. There
it is. He lost that argument, so he decided to go back to fairness. Pearl won the argument. She just won that argument. Ethan says, well, what's the quality of life going to be for the child who is a product of rape/incest? So now Pearl hit him with, wait a minute, are you saying that there are some lives that are more important than others? Let's talk about fairness. Watch. He did it again. He does it again. Watch.
One shouldn't be in society. I would say that's less valuable.
Watch.
Well, it's more about you were talking about fairness.
But you were talking about fairness. So now you jump from quality. No, we've gone from abortion to quality of life to fairness. Sorry. She got him again. Dude. The lead is widening. It's 40-36.
An idea of fairness, right? Instead of the welfare of society. So let's talk about fairness. You know what I mean? Is it fair to the little girl that she was forcibly impregnated by her dad?
Right. But
No.
is it fair to the child?
Okay. So
Oh!
Like we could talk.
Oh my God! There it is! Look at Ethan. Look at Ethan. Hold on. Hold on for 1 second. I want you to look at Ethan right now. Look at Ethan right now. Hold up. I gotta blow this up. This is, dude, I swear to God. I swear to God. Are you going to be objective? I ain't got to be honest with you. I ain't got to be objective. Hold the fucking phone. There it is. Look at Ethan. Let me blow this up. Let me blow that. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Hang on. Hang on. There. Watch this. Look at Ethan. Look at Ethan. Look at Ethan. He's like, holy shit, what do I do? Look at him. Look at him. He's completely lost. He's completely lost. He said, is it fair for the little girl to have been raped? Well, that's not Pearl's fault, but it's not fair to the child either. Watch, dude, just watch this. This is funny. Oops. Watch.
Say that's less valuable.
well, it's more about you were talking about fairness. You were-
There it is. So he switches first.
An idea of fairness, right? Instead
Watch.
of welfare of
Watch.
society. So let's talk about fairness. You know what I mean? Is it fair to the little girl that she was forcibly impregnated by her dad?
Watch.
Right, but is it fair to the child?
Okay, so who's
Like that's like we could
Uh-oh! Oh, boy! Oh, boy! He's like, wait a minute! A little help! Guys, she got me! I need some help here! I need some help! I need some help!
talk
a
about
13-year-old is a
fairness.
child, by the way. She's 13. She's a child.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I agree, and I think that's horrible, and I think there should be the death penalty for rapists. But yeah, I'm sorry, like I don't believe in abortion. And again, to me, I think that's a child, and I just can't advocate for the murder of a kid under
Okay,
any
that's fair. I
Thank you! There it is!
understand where you come from. What about situations where like 12% of abortions are related to health crises where there's a chance the woman might die or the baby might die or both?
Here we go. Bruh, we are in 2023. Not 1923. Is this dude really going to talk about fatalities during pregnancy? It almost never happens. Once again, the exception does not make the rule. Holy smokes.
Your thoughts on that?
I don't know enough about those situations to really have an opinion on it. I would probably guess that they would likely both die in those situations. So
Sometimes it's just the
maybe
mom.
that's an exception, but I don't know enough about that stuff.
Right, well, we can use our imagination. Just
No. See that? We can use our imagination. See? Pearl said, look, I don't know about this, so I'm not going to comment on it. So how does Ethan do it? Let's use our imagination. Now watch. He's going to take what she says as gospel. Watch.
for the hypothetical conversation where there's 12%, I'm telling you, there are 12% of abortions are related to health crises. So if it's the baby lives, but the mom dies, what do you think should happen in that situation?
I don't know.
Do we know the future? Is the doctor telling her, if you give birth, you are going to die? A doctor can never say, if you give birth, you're going to die. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
The reason I'm putting your feet to the fire on this is because you says very specifically that abortion should be outlawed in all situations.
I agree.
Testing that.
Yeah, I could maybe see an exception for the life of the mother, but I've heard, and I don't want to quote this because, again, it's just something I've heard. I've heard it's not as common as people lead you to believe, and like sometimes those stats are manipulated, but I don't.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
the commonness doesn't really matter. It's more about that. I think the exceptions are interesting. I disagree. I think
The exceptions are interesting. Yes, they are interesting, but they don't make the rule.
when you say, why are we focusing on the exceptions, I think that's a way for you to try to dismiss difficult questions.
Yeah, I just think it's like silly when 99.5% of abortions are not the exception. So
But that doesn't make sense. I mean, why don't you care about the situation of everybody else? Just because it's not
This
the,
guy.
'cause
This
it's the
guy.
I just think you should spend more time debating the most common thing. So that's my opinion.
Okay. Very good.
There it is. How is that an L? How is that an L? 50-45.
So we talked about feminism. The problem with feminism is that women want equality, but they don't really want equality. They need to sign up for the military, which feminists want to abolish.
So here's what he's doing now. And I haven't watched this. But oh wow. Chris Paul of the Warriors. Here's what he's doing now. He's going to try to go down all of his talking points and he's going to try to relitigate everything. He's going to try to relitigate everything because he didn't get his gotcha moment. That's all he's doing here.
The draft. And then we're talking about reproductive rights. where the women get all the choice and the men don't. Is there any other ones?
I'm sorry, I was reading something. What'd you say?
Is there any other examples other than reproductive rights and voting/draft that shows that feminism was a mistake or that feminists are disingenuous or something like that?
I would just say, like, there's just a lack. The biggest one I would say is divorce court. 90% women get custody 80 to 90% of the time. I think 90% of alimony payments are awarded to women.
What does that have to do with women's suffrage, though? You said you criticized the whole thing going all the way back to its inception.
I thought you asked other double standards. No.
Well, I asked you what's your problem with feminism.
Dude, she already answered that. She said, my problem with feminism, one of the problems is divorce court. Like this is not all he, dude, this is not even an interview. All he's trying to do is make her look bad by any means necessary. This is not a debate. This is ridiculous.
In general. We can move on, though. I have a good question for you.
Oh, there it is. We can move on, though. There it was. See? He knew he didn't have anything else. We can move on, though. See, Ethan only moves on when he's been defeated. If he thinks he's still in the fight, oh, this just doesn't make sense. What you said was fair, but it doesn't make sense, which doesn't make any sense. But he continues to argue and argue until, you know what? All right, I lost. Let's move to the next topic.
I hear you talk a lot about the pay gap.
Right.
The pay gap is a myth. What do you mean by that?
It's a myth.
Oh, because women don't do the dangerous jobs in society. So, like, I just think the pay gap, the majority of the time, is women making an excuse. Yeah, just excuses. Poor me. When
Do you realize you're arguing from emotion right now?
What?
Let me finish.
Oh, I just wanted to point that out, but yeah, go ahead.
All right.
It's
You
just
asked what I
important to know.
think. You asked what I think.
Well, the pay gap is more concrete than, I asked what.
When you take into account the number, women work less hours.
Right.
You don't do the most. Would you say that's true? Women work less hours.
Yeah, statistically that's true.
Would you say it's true that we don't do the most dangerous jobs in society?
Yeah, statistically.
Would you agree that the majority, if you look at female millionaires, the richest women came from divorce?
Okay.
True or not true?
Yeah, that's true. I guess I think so.
Okay, so what are we complaining about?
What does that have to do with the pay gap? Any of that?
Because all of those you don't think working less hours contributes to getting paid less?
Yeah, but you know the pay gap. Excuse me. Sorry, I've got phlegm in my throat. So what you're doing is you're misrepresenting what the pay gap is. You understand that? The pay gap, when it's analyzed by economics, economists, and the U.S. Department of Labor and such organizations, they do controlled analysis where they eliminate all these factors. For example, ones you listed: women tending to work in lower paid fields. They eliminate women working less. They eliminate for when women take maternity.
Ethan, this debate is over. This debate is over. What Ethan is trying to do is he's trying to bring in all of these other factors to prove his point. Pearl just dunked on him. The reason the pay gap is a myth is because women work less hours and they work less dangerous jobs. Period. There's no other those are facts. He just sat there and acknowledged that women work less hours, they do not work dangerous jobs, and that the richest women in the world, most of them got there because of divorce. But he's sitting here telling us that it's concrete. No, it's not. Again, this is the empirical data. This guy wants to bring up stats and statistics as an argument. This guy sucks, man. I thought this dude was smart. Ethan is as dumb as a fucking cactus. I'm dead serious. This guy is not smart at all. Holy God.
You leave all this kind of stuff. And even when you do a controlled analysis where you eliminate that, there's still a big pay gap.
That's not true.
Okay.
Wasn't it like 3%? Last time I checked, it was 3%.
Oh, so there is a pay gap.
Yeah, but that's 3%.
So, but it's not a myth if there's 3%.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but the number.
See that? He doesn't even know what the pay gap is. If the pay gap is 3%, then what are we bitching about? See? She just said it was 3%. He seized on that.
The number they used to push was like 77 cents to the dollar.
That's what it is without it's about 20% without the control. Yeah.
Right. And so
without the control. Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Ethan, do you even know what a control is?
I just think if we wanted to be equal and do the same jobs men do.
But there is a bias. But that's interesting because you admit there is a pay gap. 3%. I mean, I wouldn't want to work for 3% less.
Yeah, I mean, if you think that's because of gender, but it's also because women are more agreeable. It's like 70.
That's included. That's part of the control.
Okay. I mean, I don't think 3% you can really say that's just because of gender.
Well, I did some research on this. The Department of Labor published an in-depth report. This is
You didn't do any research. Your staff did.
Under Trump's administration in 2019. This is from the U.S. Department of Labor. I can link you the study if you want. It's called Gender-Based Pay Disparity Study. The research team found that the raw gender wage gap was 17.4%, and the median was 20%. The raw wage gap increased, actually, between 50th and 75th percentile remains the greatest at the highest percentile. In addition, the research team found that the importance of human capital varied across wage distributions in part-time work as well as female-oriented occupations. The updated result explained about 20 to 70% of the raw wage gap over the wage distribution, but it left an adjusted wage gap of 10 to 15%. That was in 2019. According to the U.S.
Ethan, bruh. The pay gap is not real, dude. It ain't. I'm sorry, fam. I'm sorry, bruh. Like, all of these stats and controls, none of that matters. None of that matters, man. There is no pay gap.
U.S. Department of Labor.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at that, but the stuff I've seen, it's very small. It's like 3%.
What stuff have you seen?
See, here we go. See? What stuff have you seen? My stats are better than your stats.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but I can send it to you.
Sure.
Yeah. See, if Pearl is going to say now, I will say this. Pearl took the L here. We're in the 6th round. Ethan just won his first round. Well, I'm sorry. Team H3 just won their first round. They just won their first round. So I got it. What do I have it? I've got it 59. I've got it 59-56. I got it 59-56. And really, it was really an unforced error. It was an unforced error. I've seen stuff that I've seen studies that flies in the face of that. Ethan rightfully said, okay, what have you seen and where did you see it? Can't remember off the top of my head. If you're going to make a statement, you have to be able to back it up. And again, Pearl hasn't really used, all of the statistics that she's used are common statistics. The stats that everybody knows. Everybody knows, right? Like, women file for divorce 70 to 80%. Ethan can't deny that because everybody knows that. Custody is given to women 80 to 90% of the time. Ethan couldn't refute that because everybody knows that. But now when we get into these fringe statistics and according to this and the control, Ethan, bruh, if you have to go into the methods of research and the experiment as a whole, my friend, you've lost the argument. Pearl she refuted your argument just like that. Do women work less hours, yes or no? He agreed. Do women work less dangerous jobs? He agrees again. Are most of female millionaires that way because of divorce? He agreed. Then what the fuck are we complaining about? Well, according to this statistic. Nah, fam. No. If you're going to refute a practical-based argument based on empirical data and anecdotes, you need to come with the same thing. Because anything can be refuted with stats. Women file for divorce 78% of the time. Well, it says right here that 36% of the time they do. Anybody can use any stat to refute anything. Sorry.
But I just gave you a pretty concrete, the U.S. Department of Labor, do you consider that a credible source?
Yeah, I mean, if that's true, it's just a lot of times, like, there are, like, parts of the study that they don't talk about, so... Like, even on this is what I was looking at earlier. Like, they're saying the stat you gave earlier, 12% of abortions are not done on the surgery table of the emergency room. These cases are overwhelmingly doctors advising abortions ahead of time in case there are risks for the mothers in pregnancy. Also, that 12% number they gave is highly inflated. And so it's like, it's just a lot of times there's more to it than just like a number you're giving me. But
thank you.
Yeah, what does that have to do with the pay gap? I'm confused by that.
No, the point is that, like, a number you gave me earlier, like, there was more to it.
Which number? Which one? I'm sorry. Go ahead. We'll unpack that.
The 12% of abortions are not done on the surgery table of the emergency room.
See, this is funny. Ethan knows he can't go back to the abortion argument because he lost. He knows this. That's why he's like, well, what does that have to do with the pay gap? Translation, I already lost that argument.
Cases are overwhelmingly doctors advising abortions ahead of time in case there are risks for the mother in pregnancy.
That sounds reasonable to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, a doctor's qualified to say this baby's going to put your life at risk. I would trust the doctor to say that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but they're saying that number's inflated.
Who's saying? They didn't say that. What you read did not say it's inflated.
No, I said also that 12% number they're giving you is highly inflated.
Based on what? Because what you just read to me.
See? Dude, see? Now he's attacking her studies and statistics.
He doesn't disprove what I said at all. It actually makes perfect sense.
No, but they're saying it's inflated. I don't know.
They did not say that.
Who's they?
Yeah, they didn't say that. So here,
who's they?
It's just someone I do research with. So
so just someone.
Okay. Yeah, don't.
That's good. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Don't push, right? Here's an interesting analysis.
Oh, look. Don't push.
Since I thought maybe you'd be interested. Mm-hmm. Women.
Pearl took the L there. She did. She should not have said anything that she could not cite.
do the dangerous jobs. Women are overrepresented in healthcare. You know that probably, right?
Yeah, it's the number one employer is nursing.
Then hopefully you can explain to me why, when you look at the pay of women versus men doctors, look, you can see this graph. There's a huge disparity of the average wage of male doctors versus female doctors. You can see here, and even...
And where are these statistics coming from, Ethan? Where are these stats from?
This is from 2022, last year. This is, again, from the Physician Compensation Report. Male doctors make on average $285,000 per year. Female doctors make on average $228,000 per year. So this is the women's field, and yet they're still making significant...
Oh, no. Oh. Do you see what he just did there? He switched it up. He said nursing. Then he said physicians. That's the woman's field. Nope. Most physicians are men, Ethan. Nice try.
Significantly less than their male counterparts.
Okay, does it say why?
No, this is raw data. This is just raw data.
Okay. I mean, you'd have to look at why. So
Thank you.
So we could justify this by saying...
I feel like women work less hours.
No, but they work less hours.
That's what I'm asking.
No, this is controlled. They're working the same hours. They have the same qualifications.
And how do you know that? How do you know that, Ethan? See, when he brings in these stats, he presents them as though they are concrete. How do you know, Ethan?
Yeah.
Okay, well then, maybe they are in that field. I don't know.
Okay, so the wage gap is more complicated, perhaps, than saying it's a myth.
Yes, and numbers are more complicated.
It's possible.
Okay, that's nice to hear. So I would recommend, though, when you go out and do these shows and stuff, because when you talk
Here
about
we
the
go.
wage gap, you're very
Here we
adamant about it. Like, oh, this is a myth, and this is why. And you
Oh, now see, here we go. Now he's going to tell her how to do her show.
extract a lot of meaning from it. So I would recommend potentially approaching that topic with a little more nuance in the future. Especially if you're saying, well, yeah, maybe I'm wrong about this. But here's an excerpt so we can kind of see how you talk about these issues. Here it is.
I think in 2022, any girl that complains, I'm not talking about race because that's the first thing people always bring up. I'm talking about female to male. I think in 2022, if you're complaining about the pay gap as a woman, you're probably just lazy. I have never had a problem getting the same pay as a guy. One issue is that women.
He said probably. She said probably.
No. So you kind of agree that women who complain about pay are just lazy?
Yeah, the majority of the women complaining about this stuff. Yeah, the majority of the women.
What do you mean majority of women?
51% of women, Ethan. What do you mean the majority? What do you mean? What do you mean? All this guy, look, all this dude does, I think I figured this out. What guys like him and Destiny and other disingenuous debaters like to do is if you give them a sandwich, they try to deconstruct the sandwich. They look at the bread. You said this was white bread. It looks like, I don't know. It looks like there's some wheat in this, so I don't really think that this is bread. You said this was lettuce? Okay, is this romaine lettuce or is this iceberg lettuce? Oh, it's a combination? I don't really think we can say that's lettuce. This is turkey. I mean, is it processed turkey? Is it real turkey? I mean, are they cold cuts? Or did it come from an actual turkey? Right? That's all they do. You present something that is universally known, and then you sit there and you try to pick apart every single detail before even talking about the statistic or the topic.
The majority of the women complaining about this
Based
stuff
on what?
are
Majority
just
of women?
whiners. Just what I see, whiners,
What
big
you see?
whiners. Yeah, I mean, because women, it's like, go.
You're arguing from emotion again.
She said that I see. That's not emotional.
All right, okay. Is that what you're going to say every time you don't agree with me?
Oh, no. You literally are just saying stuff.
Yeah.
It's not that I disagree. I'm just saying if we want to have a conversation about
Did you hear that? There's somebody else in the background.
The majority of the women complaining about this
Based
stuff
on what?
are
Majority
just
of women?
whiners. Just what I see, whiners,
What
big
you see?
whiners. Yeah, I mean, because women, it's like, go.
You're arguing from emotion again.
How is she arguing from emotion when she is talking about what she observed? Ethan, just because you say it doesn't make it so. Pearl just took another L. She just took another L here because she allowed him to railroad her. You're arguing from emotion. No, I'm not. I'm telling you what I observed. That's not based on what I'm feeling. That's based on what I've seen. Listen, there's another voice.
Right, okay. Is that what you're going to say every time you don't agree with me?
Oh, no. You literally are just saying stuff.
Yeah.
It's not that I disagree. I'm just saying if we want to have a conversation about this stuff, it'd
No, you do disagree.
be better if we don't argue from emotion. Say, I feel that all women are complainers. Because that's not a productive point.
No, women are complainers. She just told you, I've observed them. She did not say, I feel. See, she said, I feel like women are complainers. That's a figure of speech, Ethan. That's a figure of speech. I feel like, that is a figure of speech. Just because you say feel does not mean that you are arguing from an emotional standpoint. This guy, unbelievable. Boy, this dude thinks he's slick.
Right? You see what I mean?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I still think that most women that complain about the pay gap are just whiners. They're big whiners, and I have never had a trouble.
Oh, here's something else that gets lost in the translation. Pearl is an active listener, and her active listening tell is when she goes, right? So I was out the other night, and I had a steak. Oh, okay, all right. And I had a soda. That's what Pearl does when she's actively listening. She's giving you the feedback to let you know that she's listening. She's not agreeing with what you're saying, right? So every time he says, like, you see what this is, right? Like, you agree, right? And Pearl's like, And they think that that's an admission of agreement. That's not. It's not. And you motherfuckers know who hate watch Pearl, you also know that that's a tell.
Getting a job. I've never had trouble getting the same pay as a guy. And I think that in 2023, it's just a bunch of excuses.
Yeah, Lorenzo says the other guy is sending him questions through the computer. Dude, we figured that out. We figured that out an hour ago. He has a whole staff. Not only is the guy sending him questions, he's sending him responses. He's got one guy sending him questions, one guy sending him responses. Like, his whole team is there to make sure he doesn't look bad. It is all of them versus her, and that's it.
So what's your experience in the work? You use your own experience as an example of why women pay gap doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm not blind.
Well, hold on. What's your experience in the workforce?
I worked I always had a job from like after high school in the summers. And I worked in corporate America, and then I did.
How long did you work in corporate America?
A couple years.
A couple years?
I'm only 26.
Right, you're only 26, and therefore I wouldn't put you in and you have maybe 1 or 2 years working in corporate America. Do you think that your experience is ample to say, I've seen that women get paid equally to men? That seems disingenuous based on 1 year or 2 years, and you're only 26 years old.
Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Right. Okay. Okay, but I think we've established a little bit, at least you've conceded a tiny bit to me, that the wage gap is perhaps more complicated than yes or no.
If what you're showing me is real, you did this to someone else, but then there's like something else to it. But if what you're showing me is true,
yeah, it's all true. This is all sourced.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, you could easily look this up yourself.
Can I see the parameters for the control? I'm just curious.
There you go.
Do that, yeah. You can pull up the U.S. Department of Labor one.
The doctor one. Can I see?
By the way, we've long since moved past, but I did find that study in the Rolotoni video, the Swedish study from several years ago about Swedish prison system.
Nah, bruh. No. Show her the source from the doctor versus nurse, or from the doctor. That's what she asked for, and they just swept right past it.
I'm not sure. We can loop back to that.
Wait, what was it? I'm unfamiliar.
Here, I had a bunch of tabs open. Where did it go? In the meantime,
I had a bunch of tabs open. Ain't that something?
I'll send this in the Zoom chat if you want to take a look.
Oh, can you open it? Because I don't have the Zoom on my computer.
I'll
send a link to you. That I guess that's the parameters one.
That's the Department of Labor's 2019 study. There's a couple more. I guess we didn't.
I'm curious. What do you think it is? The wage gap?
Well, it's complicated, right? I don't think it's as simple as saying it's a myth and women who complain are lazy. That doesn't seem like a productive.
She said most women who complain are lazy.
Point to start that conversation. It is complicated.
What is your solution? Like, if you seem to think that the wage gap is real, right? And that do you think women are discriminated against?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Because what barriers do women have today in 2023?
Barriers. Right?
It is. But it is. She just asked him the gotcha question. What barriers do women have? What rights do men have that women do not? That's what he's asking.
It's not about
she's
barriers.
asking.
It's about norms. It's about like patriarchy. It's about social, the way that we
norms. You mean the rule and not the exception?
Perceive the value of people. It's not about barriers. There's no laws that say women can't do this and that, obviously.
Okay, so there's no barriers right now?
No, not that I could think of.
Okay.
Transparency. I mean,
okay. All right. So if there's no barriers, what are we complaining about, Ethan?
I agree that in general,
Because...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I do think that there's a bit of discrimination going on. I do think that behind closed doors, when there's no transparency in payment, this presupposition, by the way, that you putting forward, that women are lazy and just making excuses, that doesn't help. That honestly, I don't know how to explain it, but I know it exists, right? I know it exists.
I don't know how to explain it other than I know that it exists. Do you see? So he put her feet to the fire. Well, how do you know about the wage gap? All he did was poo-poo what she said. She says, well, how do you know that it exists? I don't know. I just know. What? Hold on. Do you guys see? That's not a thing, bruh.
When there's no transparency in payment. This presupposition, by the way, that you putting forward, that women are lazy and just making excuses, that doesn't help.
It doesn't help. That doesn't mean it's not true.
Honestly, I don't know how to explain it, but I know it exists, right?
I don't know how to explain it other than that I know it exists. If Pearl were to say the same thing, look, I don't know how to explain it, but I just know that the wage gap exists. Oh, wow. Let's play that again. Excuses, that doesn't help. It doesn't help. That doesn't mean it's not true. And then
That honestly, it's I don't know how to explain it, but I know it exists, right? I know it.
I don't know how to explain it other than I know that it exists. If Pearl said, I don't know how to explain it other than I know that it exists, Ethan would have he would have killed her for that. So you're allowed to say, so Ethan's allowed to say, listen, I can't explain it, I just know it exists. Ethan, that's not a defense, fam. That's not a rebuttal. I don't know how to explain it other than that I know it exists. That means that you are now the one secondhand truth. Just got it. So that means you're arguing from emotion, Ethan. That's exactly right. Now you're just arguing from emotion.
Do you think the bosses behind closed doors say we should hire less women?
No, it's not a conscious thing, right? It's systemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then do you have it? Like, do you subconsciously pay women less?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Ethan, you either know or you do not. You're a business owner. How could you not know? How could you not know what you pay your female employees?
So then when okay.
So because I don't pay women less,
I'm just thinking if you think there's this like subconscious thing, like then you.
Well, but it does exist, right? I mean, we can look at
should the women ask for raises at your?
Well, we're talking about you saying it's a myth, okay?
Yeah.
Here we go. See, got him. See, women. See, there it is. She just said one of the reasons for the pay gap is that women don't ask for raises. And then what does Ethan do? Switches lanes again. Watch.
Okay.
So I'm just thinking,
I'm just thinking if you think there's this like subconscious thing, like then you.
Well, but it does exist, right? I mean, we can look at
should the women ask for raises at your?
Well, we're talking about you saying it's a myth, okay?
There it is. The answer is no. Women don't ask for raises. Oh, well, we're talking about you saying it's a myth.
Yeah.
But it does exist. That's what's interesting.
I don't think there's anything stopping you today. You can maybe argue. I can't even do it in my soul. You can maybe argue like 50 years ago, but I just think in 2023, there are no barriers.
Did you say earlier 50 years ago wasn't that long ago? In regards to the draft?
Okay, fine, 100 years ago. I'm saying in the past.
This guy, didn't you just say 50 years ago wasn't that long ago? Come on, man. Come on. No, actually. Oh, no, that was her. That wasn't Ethan.
But in 2023, I just don't think there's anything stopping you. I think it's like very much a victim mindset to tell women, like, to go up telling us that we're oppressed. Like, I think that I can do anything, minus like the physical stuff, but I think I can apply for any job a guy can if I want. I can go after any job that I want. I can ask for more money if I want. And I don't think that men are out there discriminating against women. I don't think that men are. If men are such capitalists, men want to make money. It's like if women were so much cheaper, they would just hire all women.
Bingo! That's the argument. If women were so strong and capable, if anything they can do, anything we can do, they can do better, and they're getting paid less, why is the workforce not dominated by women? If women were every bit as capable, but made less, and this has been allowed to go on all this time, then why don't companies just hire all women?
Right, it's not how it works, but I've never claimed to have a solution, right? I'm just saying there is a problem.
I'd also say, I grew up in a family business too, so my dad hired people all the time, like, over 200 employees.
Wasn't your mom the president? Was she the leader of the company?
What was you're researching my family now, huh?
Well, that's all public.
No, my mom, I don't know what they titled it. Like, I don't.
Your mom was the president, I believe. But
yeah, they might have titled it one thing or another. My mom did more of the marketing sales side. My dad did the engineering, the software.
Okay.
I think they wanted to get some grant, so I think like they might have had her, like they did that to get some grant from the government or something.
There it is. And there's the nuance. Wasn't your mom blah, 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 blah? Yes, but here's the reason. We have to know why they did certain things.
I don't remember, but...
So, is that a crime?
Yeah, you probably can say that on air.
What a crime. Is that a crime? Listen to this guy. Unbelievable, man.
So, I guess, again, we're kind of hitting a wall on this topic. But what I would say is this, is that I don't claim to have a solution. I'm rebutting your claim that the pay gap is a myth. Because it's not a myth, it exists. I don't know how to fix it. I'm just saying it's not a myth.
Yeah, but you just also said that you don't know how to describe it other than that you know it exists. So if you're going to say she's got to prove that it doesn't exist, you have to prove that it does. You've got to prove that it does, Ethan. He said, I don't know how to explain it other than that I know it exists.
That's an oversimplification, and it's dishonest.
Yeah, I just don't. I think most of the pay gap you can attribute, and you even agreed to this, the 77 cents to 3%, like, is very different. I think the majority of the pay gap you can.
Oh, you mean the uncontrolled?
Yeah,
it's more than 3%, but I agree that it's lower. Yeah, it's a lot lower.
And even with that, like, I just would guess there's more to it because I just don't see.
Is there anything else you want to guess?
I don't think that men have.
Unbelievable. See, all he's doing is yep, there he goes. All he is doing All he is doing is seizing on her. He's seizing on her her vernacular and making it literal. Is there anything else you want to guess on today? That's not what she wasn't guessing anything, man. This guy.
Have this evil. I think it's silly. It's silly to think that men have this.
Oh, look at him. I'm so fucking clever.
Evil coalition where they just unconsciously discriminate against women.
I agree. That's not what's happening.
Yeah.
That's the oversimplification part. Speaking of coalitions,
That's an oversimplification of it, but that's what everybody says it is, Ethan.
what do you think about the Jews? I'm just kidding.
I don't have any.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Keep me on
I'm
that.
just kidding. That's not a serious question. Let's talk about some of your really interesting ideas on this one here. You say men want younger women. This is something I've heard you say quite a few times.
All right, I'm done. I'm not going to get through this. It doesn't matter how fast I play this. Oops. I fucking hate when it does that. Everyone is saying that Pearl got destroyed. That's not even close to what happened. That's not even close to what happened. And any fair-minded person who were to watch this video without bias would not say that Ethan destroyed Pearl. They would acknowledge, yes, Pearl made a couple of missteps. But the part that I saw, Pearl won that debate, y'all. She won that debate. And it wasn't Pearl versus Ethan. It was Pearl versus the H3 crew. We only saw one other person on camera. But trust and believe, there were many people behind the scenes. That's why he couldn't take his eyes off of that laptop. Can't make this stuff up, y'all. Can't make this stuff up. I've got kind of a headache. I don't know why. I don't know why. Might be these headphones. You guys know how that goes. All right. Been slow on the super chat side. Yep, looks like they traded. Yeah, looks like Chris Paul is going to the Warriors. That'll be a very good. That'll be a very good trade. All right, guys. Dude. Yeah, Secondhand Truth says that when Pearl asked them for additional information on a stat, they folded. Yeah. Okay, all right. Yeah, man. Yeah, King Life with the $2 super chat says Chris Paul going to the Warriors. It looks that way. It looks that way. G. Lee says, are you doing the D breakdown? The D breakdown will be tomorrow. The D breakdown will be tomorrow. Roadblock 85 with the $10 super chat. I appreciate that very much. Man, oh man, I'm losing my voice. Whoa, boy, that was kind of late. That was kind of late. Shout out to the 124 people that were watching on Rumble. Ooh, man, yeah, my voice is tired as hell. But I like this new time slot. Hopefully things will pick up. Shout out to Gons0651. Love that. Over on the Rumble side. That's going to do it for this, the 977th edition of TSR Live. Thank you very much to my super chatters, my Sharp Stream members, my Patreon supporters, and all those in the chat. Have a good day, guys. We'll see you next time.